I didn't realize you needed money to buy big companies, but apparently GameStop thinks that it can. We're going to talk about the GameStop eBay deal coming up next on the Ungraded Truth podcast. Detective Comics set a record for 1.8 million. Nobody really cares.
Who are annoyed that people are asking them questions, is this book banned? That question didn't exist a year ago.
Somebody's submitting like 25 vintage books and getting 15 9.9s.
We always think, how can it ever get crazier? And then it always does.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the #1 collectible show in the universe, the Ungraded Truth podcast. I am Swaggle Haas, joined, as always, by my co-hosts, Manu of the 99 Newsstand, Rob, Neo Cards and Comics, and Ryan, Automatic Comics. Gentlemen, like every 2 weeks, we got another big show. I mean, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. But before we do that, I mean, how are you guys doing? It's another Saturday night. This is our 15th episode. Can you believe it?
That's pretty impressive. I'm well. I mean, we go in the order, right? I'm well. And Ryan told me that Devil Wears Prada 2 is out. And some people that know me know that I really enjoy Devil Wears Prada Part 1. So I'm excited about this movie. And now everyone is going to cancel me. Ryan, how was the film?
Yeah, no, I went and saw it with my wife earlier today, and I picked it. So
there you go. Listen.
Man, like I was talking with her afterwards because I had seen some like little clip on, it was like a Facebook or a short or whatever like that, where somebody was asking their dad, like, if you wanted, to give me money to go to the movies, like, how much would you give me right now? And he had went around and it was like $8 is what he thought it would cost. And it cost just for my wife and I, for the movies and like popcorn and pop, over $100. Yeah. Like, it's wild. Now, granted, I live in a high cost of living area, but like still, like the popcorn and pop and like one or two candy things was like over 50, and then the tickets were like 50. And this wasn't like IMAX, it's wild. It is wild what it costs to go to the movies right now.
It really is. But tickets for 50, that seems steep for tickets.
Well, it was because it was I think 21 each, and then they have their service charge.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do it online. Yeah.
And so, I mean, but even like the kids tickets, like, because they tell you like the different like categories. Kids tickets were 19. I'm like, it's like $2 off for kids. Like, it's like nothing.
That's crazy.
It's just crazy.
Look at the bright side. You could have opened a $100 box of cards and had your entertainment value over in 5 minutes and had like $3 to show.
I mean, I'm not saying I enjoyed the movie, but that's why I'm fairly picky now about like what movies I'm going to go see. And I wanted to see that. Like when I saw it, I was like, yeah, I'll go see that. I enjoyed the first one. I thought it'd be fun to see the second one. So, but yeah, that's why like I'm not just like randomly going to movies anymore, because it's just it is steep.
Yeah.
Well, these days everything is too expensive. We have free comic book day today. And even that apparently is not free, which is going to be one of our stories that we're going to get into tonight, actually. But before we get into all of the stories, we got to do a little bit of housekeeping. Shout out to Key Comics here, the new channel member. Really appreciate that, Key Comics. You don't have to be a channel member to enjoy our stream, but I definitely appreciate it if you do become a channel member. But what you can do is also hop over to the Ungraded Truth YouTube channel and sub it up. It's free over there. Your sub costs nothing, and it does a lot. It helps us out. We're currently at 1,400 subscribers. We just had 2 of our biggest viewed videos. I mean, we're just crushing it over on the YouTube channel over there. And we're also crushing it on our Spotify page. We also have the Spotify link in the description. If you guys would like to hear us over on Spotify, I go over there to that page, give it a follow, give us a 5-star review. We definitely would appreciate all of those.
How many are we at now? How many 5-star reviews we have now? I mean, we got to shame everybody.
Yeah, you're right. We should have shamed it. You're right. I felt shame, but you know what? Shame on everybody, because last week we had 25 5-star reviews. This week we're still only at 25 5-star.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
I know. I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to like show our numbers here not going up, but like maybe the audience is to blame.
They are to blame.
They are to blame.
Maybe we're just not putting out 5-star quality content.
Quiet.
Neo.
That is a lie, Rob. That is a lie, because you guys know that we always do 5-star quality shows like we're going to have tonight. Just also, the Ungraded Truth podcast is a co-stream on all our various streams. We're on Ryan's channel right now. We're on Rob's channel right now. We are also on the Ungraded Truth YouTube channel. And my channel as well. So if you guys are watching on whatever stream, be sure to head on over to the various streams, give everyone a sub, give everyone a like, give everyone a 5-star review, because we would appreciate it. But with that all out of the way, we got to get into our lead topic of the show, which is, of course, GameStop prepping to make an offer for eBay. This is massive, big business, collectible news coming out of the Wall Street Journal. I'm going to kind of go over some of the highlights here before we go over to the panel, but let's catch you guys up to speed in case you haven't heard about it. GameStop is preparing to offer eBay as CEO Ryan Cohen pursues plans to boost the struggling video game retailer's market value more than tenfold, the Wall Street Journal reported on Friday. Shares of eBay, which has a market capitalization of $46 billion, soared about 14% in extended trading. GameStop gained 4%. That company has a market value near $12 billion. GameStop has quietly been building a stake in eBay shares ahead of the potential offer, the report said, citing people familiar with the matter. If eBay is not receptive, Cohen could decide to take the offer directly to the e-commerce company's shareholders, the journal said. Details of the potential offer that could be submitted later this month, could not be learned, et cetera, et cetera. That's kind of, the overall packaging as the story as we know it right now. But, I thought that this was interesting. A lot of people talking about this, more and more big business within the collectible world. It is kind of strange that GameStop, even though it's a third of the size of eBay, is making a play to make a bid on that company. I don't know if this is just marketing to kind of like promote their stock outright, or if there's actually, legs here. But, from Michael Burry earlier in the year, talking about his belief in what everything GameStop is doing with PSA and its GameStop Power Packs and the collaboration that it's got going on in the collectible world, and now making this bid for eBay. I mean, guys, I'm going to kick it over to you. What do you guys think about this story overall, and what do you think that this means if it actually went through?
So I watched Neo's video on this, and I have paid attention to like corporate mergers and things like that in the past, but you never quite know how it's going to take shape. So before I even like kind of think about what this means for like what would eBay become if GameStop and the people that run GameStop are in charge of it, right? And what does that mean for collectors, right? But even before that, this idea, I didn't read that article. I just collected bits and pieces from the internet and I watched Neo's video. I probably should have read that article, but GameStop having a $12 billion valuation and eBay being 46 billion, does that mean they're going to take out a massive loan? Like, does anyone have an idea? Like, how did
I
they
would
do
assume
this?
yes. I
Okay.
would think you'd have to do that. I don't know how else that works.
There was some AI. This is all beyond me because this is not my realm. But there were some people that had like done like the AI homework on this that basically said like, yes, this is possible. Like they could bring on debt. They could have other people potentially jump in, like a Burry or Nat Turner or whoever else could potentially pitch in.
So this is very interesting. And then there was a portion that I saw on the screen that it was in the article. I didn't know it was in the article. I just heard someone mention this. And this was fascinating to me too, that the CEO had a compensation plan that he agreed to, that if he is able to get the value of GameStop to 100 billion, he gets a $35 billion bonus.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
Oh,
you're muted.
You're muted.
I'll kind of highlight that section as you were saying. GameStop in January unveiled a compensation package worth roughly $35 billion for Cohen, hinging on a turnaround that requires him to lift the company's market value to $100 billion and hit $10 billion in cumulative performances. Yeah, I think that the play here is if he can put the right money together and right interest together, they could take out a loan, leverage, make the purchase of eBay with the grand plan of it being able to kind of lift the market cap for, I guess, what would be this massive corporation to 100 billion plus, and he get this massive payout. So, he's kind of, he's got his 4D chess Thanos level, get all the Infinity Stones, which I know, Rob, you kind of made that reference to him doing that before.
Yeah, and the other thing, like, I mean, eBay prints money. Like, they just had their Q1 earnings posted. This, I think Ben Burrows had it on Twitter. If you wanted to try to find it, but it was massive. Like the amount of money that they brought in, and most of it was collectibles driven. I think 80% of their Q1 revenue was driven by the collectibles side of the business. So, it almost feels like it's more like eBay acquiring GameStop in a backwards ass way, if that makes sense. eBay platform is amazing, and someone called this out in the comment section. They are slow to move though on stuff. Like it takes them months, if not years, to roll out some of these features. I would hope that GameStop management coming in, if this does happen, would hopefully accelerate some of the improvements on the platform that we've all wanted.
The
big takeaway though is
on
that corporate wants all the collector money. Like the big business wants in every inch of this space, was my overall takeaway of this entire thing.
I mean, my issue is that eBay, I mean, the fees aren't terrible, but they have been nickel and diming constantly every year. And I feel like if this happens, it's just going to get worse. Like it's going to get even worse on how they start upcharging on everything. And so that's a concern I would have. I mean, I agree that eBay is very slow on rolling things out, but I also feel like every time they roll something out, it's not necessarily to the benefit of the sellers on the platform. I mean, like, so
lately it has been.
I mean, there've been a couple things that are like the main thing, like to me as a seller, that would help out on the platform would be seller protections. Like seller protections are just non-existent. And they can claim that they have them and all that. But at the end of the day, like when somebody challenges you with some bullcrap claim, they seem to win most of the time. And so like, I don't know how this helps improve that situation at all. Somebody did say, like in the comment, I saw like a comment about like, oh, it would help eBay to have brick and mortar. It's like, I disagree. I think anything moving towards brick and mortar is a negative. Like to me, like the way I look at that is look at Netflix versus Blockbuster. Like back in, like 15 years ago, Blockbuster started rolling out kind of a more digital type platform with renting movies and this kind of thing. And they still just got destroyed. Like brick and mortar is not helpful, I don't think, in any of these types of situations. I think online is so much more efficient. You don't have all the costs and everything that go with brick and mortar. I do not think having brick and mortar footprints is a benefit.
The only counterpoint to the brick and mortar, I generally agree with you, Ryan, but with them doubling down in the collectible space, specifically the TCG space, I could see the brick and mortar GameStop stores evolving as time goes on into a more traditional game store where you need a little bit of play space. Or like I could see GameStop wanting to hold Friday Night Magic or events or other types of things like that as their TCG business ramps up, because they've been removing a lot of the junk and clutter in there and kind of emptying out a lot of the basically that they have in those stores. A lot of the toys and stuff like that have been getting removed. So I think that would be the one counterpoint. Not that that benefits eBay at all. I'm just looking at this more through the GameStop lens. So there's might be an angle with that if they wanted to go down that path a little bit, because you do need brick and mortar for that if they wanted to try to build that out. And GameStop specifically has leveraged the brick and mortar really well through like the PSA drop-off location stuff. That's driven a lot of traffic into their building. I don't know that they've seen the return on it or not, but that has been one major benefit of them actually having physical locations. And they have closed a lot. I think they've closed like 700 stores this year. It seems like they're trimming the fat on a lot of those brick and mortar stores.
Yeah. One thing to point out too, even though the brick and mortar stores probably are kind of an antiquated model, obviously for, businesses and things like that, the proliferation of third spaces, as they call them, is something that a lot of companies are looking at right now. Places for people to go. The more we're online, the more people crave like, oh, can I go out with friends and do activations and experiences like that? And GameStop, even though it has a store, doesn't have the same kind of hobby feeling that a lot of card stores do or a lot of comic book stores do. And I wonder if they're thinking like, hey, can we level up our GameStop places to be these kind of third spaces that people actually want to go and hang out at versus like some kind of retail store, something that I think might be interesting. The other part I was just gonna say, the tough part with that though is just like, it kind of goes like, yeah, LCSs have been doing great. It's like,
Like, I don't know. Like that
card LCSs actually have been doing great. So
I mean, but I
don't know about card
hear a
shop.
lot.
Card
I
shops
hear a
have
lot of card shops struggle though too. You know, like there are card shops that do well, but a lot of them also struggle with with how the distribution models work now and everything. So I mean, maybe if they're big enough, they can wield a big enough stick that they can, you know, get a better handle on distribution. That might be something that they can leverage.
And this is something I just thought of sitting here. I wonder if there would be a weird angle, like the way that they leverage the brick and mortar to make PSA submissions basically for dummies, where like anyone could walk in and submit a card to PSA. You don't have to know anything. I wonder if there is an audience for you walk into a GameStop with your item and you hand it to the GameStop employee and they do everything, photo, listing, shipping, everything. And then the money it runs at 99-cent auction on eBay. And then the money just deposits into your account. Like I know that there's been like eBay consignment stores over the years and stuff, but I wonder if that would be a weird portal to capture a more casual audience. Like people were skeptical of like, oh, that won't work, but it's been super successful for PSA. So I don't know why the same theory wouldn't apply where grandma could walk, or, you know, not even grandma, like a kid or a mom or dad that might not be up on how eBay works could walk in with their kids' cards and say, sell these on eBay. And then it just automatically, gives them a link to track the sale or whatever. And then once it's paid, it just automatically deposits into their GameStop account or eBay account or whatever.
You're not necessarily saying drop them off with GameStop, get them graded. You're saying even the raw cards, just drop them off with GameStop.
Yeah, almost like a consignment service, like a brick and mortar consignment service that's selling it on eBay for them.
So if they're,
I mean, didn't that used to exist for eBay? I remember.
Yeah,
what was it?
I mean, there's been eBay consignment stores. You still see them
like,
randomly, like around the country, but this would be a way well more networked thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
we're not the audience.
Like
we are not the audience for it. Just like most people viewing this probably aren't the audience to use GameStop for PSA submissions. But there's been, I mean, the GameStop PSA thing has proven that there is a massive demand for that casual audience that doesn't want to deal with this stuff.
Yeah, and it's possible too. Like, you know, some of those eBay pop-ups existed before, and they could probably do that thing. But I almost wonder if that model was just too ahead of its time. Whereas now we kind of live in this space where, you know, the collectible world is so big, and like, you know, online shopping is so big that it makes more sense, and people are just more in tune to that process that it could work. But one of the other things I wanted to ask, and maybe Rob, like you could kind of pick up on this one, is, you know, something I think about as far as like the big entities that are maybe eyeballing and side-eyeing each other a little bit based on like the power plays that they're making are companies like Fanatics, and then you have like the GameStop sort of like PSA eBay-ish sort of side. And I do wonder if, you know, someone like Ryan Cohen is just thinking to himself like, well, it's obvious to me why he would want eBay, but I wonder if they're kind of looking over the rearview mirror thinking to themselves like, you know, Whatnot is having one heck of a year, and online shopping is getting a lot bigger, and eBay Live has kind of been like dragging its feet and slowing down a little bit. And yeah, Fanatics Live, that's also, as far as I understand, Fanatics Live pretty popular, and I just wonder if that might be the kind of the big play too.
eBay Live's actually, I would say, been gaining a little bit of steam lately, as they've been starting to push it more and allow a little bit more sellers on. Fanatics Live, I get very mixed reports from folks that actually sell a lot on Fanatics Live. I've heard, and I've never used any of them, so I'm not 100% sure. I'm just going off what people told me. But like, the back end's not the greatest for sellers. Like, it's a little difficult to manage some of the things that you have to deal with. And they definitely do not get the same numbers that Whatnot does from like a viewing perspective. So your customer base is a lot smaller. And I think eBay Live's performing pretty well, because if you've noticed, like if you've gone to like your eBay homepage lately on a browser or even on the app, it looks like a Whatnot homepage. It's just like live streamer, live streamer, live streamer, live streamer. And I think a lot of those sellers are performing pretty well just because of the mass number of people that use eBay. So, I mean, imagine being a live seller and you're on the front page of eBay, how many eyeballs you're getting on that, just even if they're not interested in what you're doing. Like the amount of people that go to the eBay homepage a day is probably astronomical, like the number of hits that gets onto that website. So even if you convert a small percentage of that into your stream, that's a massive business. But your point, there's been a bit of a land grab going on for the last few years between, you have Ruben and Fanatics on this side, and then you have like Nat Turner and the Cohens on the other side with like the Collectors Universe, PSA, Beckett, SGC, eBay, Golden, like all that group, and then the Fanatics doing their thing, and then there's a bunch of people caught in the middle that are just kind of like, I'm kind of aligned with both of you. I'm kind of doing my own thing. Maybe someone please buy me. Like,
yeah, well, that's the kind of the interesting part, right? Because it's like, clearly it's like somebody wants to own the entire pipeline, top to bottom, right? Like one company to rule them all in the collectible world. And you kind of have
PSA is pretty close to that, I feel like, right now.
Yeah.
They don't,
and you
make,
have two powerhouses.
That's the only difference. I've always framed it like this. Ruben and Topps control the primary because they're making everything. And then they're kind of dipping their toes in the selling and getting their little percentage points here and there. But Collectors Universe and eBay really control everything once it's been produced, because PSA could grade it, assign more value to it. They could sell it multiple times over and over again in their vault or through eBay. And then the GameStop relationship. Both sides are basically printing money. And I don't know that any one company can completely control both sides. I don't know that Fanatics wants to get, a lot of people love to run with the speculation that Fanatics wants to get in the grading. And I can see how you could follow the breadcrumbs, but I don't think it makes sense to them. I don't think they want to spend that money. It would cost a fortune to go at Collectors Universe in the position that they're in. And people have said about, should GameStop have bought PSA? I don't know that PSA wants to sell. I mean, I think the speculation in the hobby has been for a while that their whole end goal is to go public again. So, I mean, maybe they would sell, but I feel like they're going more the IPO route than anything else.
I did see a comment about people saying like Target and Dick's and Walmart seem to be like all investing in, collectibles, that kind of stuff. I just thought that was interesting because I've seen it at Staples lately. Like when I go to Staples to buy like bubble wrap and stuff for shipping, there's like a thing with Pokemon cards in it all the time now. And I always think, I'm like, I should just buy some, but like, cause usually that stuff's sold out everywhere, but I feel like people aren't looking at Staples. So, but yeah, it's like they're popping up everywhere. Like anybody that can get some distribution seems to be trying to get it.
Well, and the people that you mentioned, the Dick's, the Walmarts, the Targets, are even going a level above. Like Dick's, they're putting like almost full-blown card shops in some of their stores now. It's not just like they have an end cap with some retail stuff in it. Like the Dick's House of Sports in Pennsylvania or in Pittsburgh is the one that bought the Skeens 101 debut pack. Like that was $1 million card that they bought just to display in their store. And then Target recently announced that they are going to kind of do something similar in some stores where they're basically going to put like an upgraded collector experience, like rip out part of the store and put in, card shop's too big of a stretch, but just like a more dedicated area for collectibles. And we've seen Walmart do a lot of stuff in the comic book side with short box, with live selling, with all sorts of things that they have their hands in too. So they're all getting into it to some degree or another. I feel like Dick's has been the most aggressive of all of them, at least in the sports card side of things.
I was gonna say, like Dick's, it fits though. I mean, like all the sports equipment, everything. You're gonna have people that collect sports cards. Maybe I don't know how much they spread into like Pokemon or TCG versus sports.
They do have some, but their focus is more on sports.
Yeah.
Let me ask this though. Let's say that GameStop is able to make this happen. They put the money together. They end up buying eBay. What does that look like?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Is this good, bad? What is this?
I don't think there's any real like, oh my God, we woke up tomorrow and all of a sudden, power to the players or something crazy like that is all over the front of eBay.
eBay's got to stay eBay. eBay's
I think if anything,
it
would be
prints money, right? Like I feel like they would just probably keep things largely the same. Like I think somebody called it like a toll booth for sales, and that's really what it is. Like they just accept, all the sales. They just it's a great revenue stream,
Well, can I ask this then, just because everyone would be interested in this from a collectible side of things, or a collector side, or maybe a seller side, or whatever? Is this make it better for everyone in collectibles? Is this worse, or is it like, whatever? It'll just be the same thing.
That's what I said. I wouldn't be surprised if you start seeing more fees tacked on. They're going to do that anyway, but maybe it accelerates. Like that's always my concern. Anytime you get more drive for money, involved in any of these companies. Like, I mean, yeah, that would be my biggest concern, is that the fees go up, which the problem there is that it does start, then it like potentially pushes sellers to other platforms. Now, there really isn't like a great competition for eBay right now. I mean, yeah, you've got Whatnot and that, but like eBay is the place, really to sell if you want to.
Yeah, they have competition on the live selling, but not the traditional bin / auction platform. On the high end, they do. Like, when you start getting into like the Heritages, the Goldens, the REA, stuff like that, there is a lot of competition in that space. But in that the vast middle ground where most people live and play, there's not a lot of competition for in a traditional selling sense. But things are, to me, I think it's past us, but the younger audience is going more and more towards the live selling aspect of it, versus the traditional eBay method, if you will. And eBay has their toes in that too. So I think for us, I don't know that a lot would change. I think they could potentially roll out some interesting things for a more casual audience, leveraging the brick and mortar side.
Well, we'll have to kind of keep tabs on, what happens with the story. I mean, if it is in fact actually going to happen, this could just be a lot of hearsay. It could just be kind of a marketing play for, GameStop stock. But, if anything happens, we'll definitely be here to report on it. But I think we have to now move on to our next big story. Speaking of big business ruining everything for everybody in collectible land, we got to talk about Logan Paul going all in on manga. Now, this is a story that sort of broke last week. We had a couple posts from Logan Paul and Jeremy Padower, who made an announcement that they are going in big for manga. Logan picking up a Weekly Shonen number 34, first appearance of One Piece in a Beckett 9.0, and also a first Dragon Ball in a Beckett 9.2. I believe the Dragon Ball is the highest graded copy known to exist, and the One Piece is the second highest graded copy. They disclosed that the Dragon Ball, they paid $550,000 for this book right here. They did a video where they talked about, why they decided to pick it up. They kind of gave their thesis on the entire, manga universe and these IPs. And wouldn't you know it, soon after that, we started getting the listings and the sales and the movement, and everything was going crazy on the secondary market, specifically for that of the Weekly Shonen number 34. We got a bunch of big One Piece sales. The other week we talked about this one, the 5.5, selling on Heritage Auctions for 42,000, and then this recent one, shout out to this consignor right here, Rainier Consignment, sold this 6.0 for $55,000. And I was able to kind of check on 130 Point to confirm that that was an actual sale. And it's kind of stands to, or it's important to point out that a 7.0 sold in November of last year for $10,000. So that's where we've gone, in this last 6 months or so, with the Logan Paul announcement jumping up, essentially 4x or so. But what's maybe most interesting about, Logan Paul kind of coming out and saying all this was the amount of crash outs that the manga universe had. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I have never been served as many manga related content videos of people saying this absolutely ruins the hobby. Logan Paul is cosplaying as a manga, fan. He's like a total phony. A lot of people were saying even that, that manga isn't even the first appearance. People were kind of getting all over these guys. We had, the mangas are meant to be read crowd all of a sudden popping up. And it was just really funny because this was like totally, just like, everything we've heard in comic books, but now it's like the manga people are getting it. I mean, maybe these have always been the conversations within the manga world, but it's just funny to see another hobby, like, or it's like that meme, the meme with like James Franco, where he's got the noose around his neck. He's like, oh, first time. It's like now the manga universe is freaking out over Logan Paul. But gentlemen, what do you think about Logan Paul buying up these mangas? What do you think about the crash outs within the manga space?
All right, I want to start with this one because I feel like my take is maybe I don't know, maybe we're on the same page here, but at first, I'm not a Logan Paul fan. Like I feel like he's just out there he knows he can use his likeness and his influence to make a bunch of money. He knows it. Like that's fact. But all those crash outs and all that crap just made me go, all right, I'm cheering for Logan Paul. Like I don't care anymore. Like I am so sick of all that garbage. You know, like it's the same. It's the same people that a little younger, it seems now, where they're just saying like, oh, the manga is meant to be read. Like, oh, grading is so stupid. You can't read it when it's in a slab. Oh my God, I'm so tired of it. I'm so tired of it. And yeah, cheering for Logan Paul now. Manga. Just I want it to just go to infinity. That's my take now on this. I'm just, oh my God, just stop complaining. Stop complaining.
Ryan showbidding manga incoming.
Oh
what do you guys think, Manu or Rob? You guys have initial thoughts on this sort of Logan Paul manga story?
If you have it, sell it.
Yeah, I like that.
Logan gave you the window. Like,
yeah, I agree with that. Sorry, Rob, did I cut you
no,
off?
No, go Manu.
No, that's it. That's it. I had a conversation with someone a few days ago. You know, I was unfamiliar with manga and its origin and what different ones there are and things like that. And this is all brand new to me. And my feed is also full of this stuff. You know, I'm seeing the scripts people are buying now. And but what made it interesting, what brought me in and made me personally care is that, and I think this individual is going to tell his story later, so I'll be vague about it. But I spoke to the person that, you know, this $550,000 one that sold. I spoke to the person that owned it previously, that graded it from raw, sold it to the person that sold it to Logan Paul, and all of the emotions in that story, because you might imagine he paid a certain amount for it raw, right? Graded
a much smaller certain amount, I'm sure.
A fraction, right? Like, I mean, you know, very tiny relative to this amount. But then even once the market had started to move within like you know, a certain group of people that were really passionate, interested, this individual, yeah, I'm just, you know, anyway, he sold it after grading it and sold it for a great profit. In regards to what he paid for it raw, but what it's gone on to sell for in a short period of time to Logan Paul is kind of this emotional roller coaster. But having that conversation is what made me feel like, oh shoot, now I feel involved in this, right? Because the manga thing didn't connect with me, but knowing the individual, and he's a friend of mine, and like hearing that and sort of everything that went into it and what it took to get to this place. And what sort of community was around it, kind of pushing it prior to this mainstream sort of push from Logan Paul and friends. It's fascinating to kind of just look at it from that sort of perspective, being completely not involved in it at all. So it's interesting to me. And then a bunch of people were like, bro, get into it. And it's like, I don't love this stuff. I can't do it. And the thing about that is, just by chance from us talking about it, reading articles, I'll learn a thing here and there. But if I don't love it, if I'm not passionate about it, I'm not going to research it. I'm not going to just dive in and then come up for air when I feel like I know everything. And so if I don't research it, I'm not going to be prepared to meet opportunity with knowledge, with awareness, right? I'm not going to know what to buy, when to buy it, when there's enough. So I'm just going to be an observer. I got no beef with nobody about it. You know, I got my opinions about Logan Paul, but but what Ryan said is right. He is completely aware that his likeness is going to, you know, pump up a product and he's going to make some money. And at the end of the day, he's not going to sell this to somebody that, you know, doesn't have any money. He's going to sell it to someone super rich, and they could make whatever decisions they want. That's where I'm at with it. It's an interesting thing, but damn, did the prices move really fast, really high, really high.
Well, and that's one of the things, like a lot of those people that were complaining, they're like, oh, it's like, this isn't worth this. I've got all this stuff behind me on my shelf. And like I said, it's like, yes, sell it then. Like, if you legitimately think this stuff isn't worth that because there's tons of it out there, you know, there's tons of it out there, take advantage now, sell it, buy it back later if it comes back down. And if it doesn't, so be it. You still have a bunch of money.
Fair.
So,
exactly,
I mean, right. Just like, but it's like I don't know, like the complaining, it's just, you get a little tired of it after a while. You're like, come on, guys, just enjoy your hobby. Like, you don't like, he didn't ruin anything. It's like stuff got more expensive. Why didn't you buy it before?
And we see all that nonsense more than most people too, because we live in the content bubble. and it's thrown at us a little bit harder because we have to kind of pay attention to it. So I think it could get under, it can wear us down a little bit faster than like an average person that's not living.
Especially when you have people sending it to you constantly.
Well, there's that too.
I'm like, just stop sending me this crap. I don't want to see it.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it. Imagine how much Logan Paul saw it, because he made this post after his initial one, which I thought was actually pretty funny. The response to my manga purchases was so overwhelmingly positive that I decided to double down and grab 2 more copies of One Piece Chapter 1, and then he showed him picking up 2 more copies. But I just thought that was pretty funny as a post. And I wanted to like kind of go back to this one right here, and this particular content creator like pulled up this comment that he said like, oh, this was like such a great post. And the post said, I think grading, hoarding, and selling simple stuff we all enjoyed as kids now that we're adults is dumb. Not everything has to be turned into a stock to be sold for profit. I'm tired of all this grading culture. Kind of effectively, said another way, grading is a scam. But I thought it was just really interesting because, we have so many people that are so upset about, I guess, big business coming into our hobby, and so what's that?
It's like when your band gets popular.
That's exactly right. It's like when the band gets popular, when all of a sudden GameStop, joins forces with eBay, and it becomes big business in this whole thing. When all of a sudden Logan Paul likes the thing that you like. I guess I want to kind of ask that, like, do people have a point to be made when they sort of feel like their hobby has been ruined by like these big entities? Because it's kind of like an interesting just conversation. Like, I'll just start with my opinion on this as I'm trying to set this up. Like, to me, it's maybe a little crass, but I'm like, get over it. Like, yes, big businesses have come in, influencers have ruined your hobby, but that doesn't have to affect how you still enjoy it. Like, there's still a ton of fun to be had in collecting. And I don't know. I just think that it's interesting that people complain so much about it. And then the other thing I want to ask is just, and you guys can pick up on another point, is that everyone was saying Logan Paul is a poser. And don't get me wrong, there is no doubt in my mind that he's looking at manga, thinking it's pretty cool. And yeah, I think I can buy this thing. And based on the popularity of the franchise of One Piece, I can sell this for $5 million 5 years from now. Like, no doubt that's his play. But like, are we surprised? And does it matter? And like, who are we to say that he doesn't love One Piece? I mean, he loves it enough to spend $500K on it. I don't know. I'm just going to kind of throw it back to you guys if you have any thoughts on what I just said.
Just a little bit. Now, not like a super passionate take on it or anything like that. Like, I don't want to disagree with you, and I enjoy agreeing with you in this. But then there's something that there's something that I can't avoid as a feeling, and I don't even know how I relate to it, because manga wasn't my thing. I wasn't a quiet collector of it, and now it's this thing. But there's this kind of, tell me if this makes sense. There's this kind of the sense of like, there was a community and people appreciated it, whether they bought it or not, or invested in it. They loved it, they believed it, and now it's a circus. And that sucks for the community that loves it. Money aside, Logan profiting, but now it's a circus. And I think that's the sentiment shift for the collector that was in it before. And I don't know. I mean, I just get kind of like that feeling, like maybe that's what it is. Of course, there are people that are angry that now it's expensive. There are people that are angry that they missed out. There's jealousy, there's envy. All of those human emotions exist here. There are absolutely a lot of people envious of the position that Logan's in. No doubt. But this also just doesn't feel pure, right? It feels like a charade. And I think that is upsetting to a core collector, potentially. That's the only emotion that I think I kind of feel like that might exist here, and that I can understand.
So
I think it's valid.
I think the biggest thing that you hit on is priced out. I think people feel like they get priced out. We saw it when we saw it firsthand, Manu, like when Marvel cards got popular in the early days of the pandemic. Yeah. A lot of those folks were pissed because they used to be able to buy. They thought they had more time to finish a certain set or a certain thing, and it used to cost X, and they got accustomed to paying those prices, and now all of a sudden it costs them Y because prices have gone 5X. in literally overnight in some cases, or like in the course of a week. Like you blink and you miss it. And especially if you're not tuned in to like where you're like watching the day and day, like you could have missed a week and woke up and all of a sudden your mangas went from being $1,000 to $10,000 if you went on a vacation for a few days and
can I ask
paying attention.
Sorry to interrupt. Can I ask though, like just on that point, like how hardcore were you really, or like how much like did you like get priced out if you have been like, I've been a fan for 15 years and like I've been waiting to buy the weekly Shonen One Piece, but I just never did.
Didn't you?
Like,
well, that's what I said
you know?
earlier. I was like, if it mattered that much to you, why didn't you buy it? You know, you're just mad because it's like theoretically you can't buy it now. It's like, I don't know. It's I do think it's a big part. I think jealousy plays a big role. I mean, we know that often is a big part of it.
For sure.
But
Ryan's just waiting for Logan to get in the pre-code horror, and then he's going to retire.
Oh, I know. I mean, like just get into comics, you know, like go to the moon.
a lot of comic people would love it. Which, by the way, I feel like the comic people are some of the biggest pumpers. But I mean, what you were saying, I just wanted to show this graph or this image, I should say, this meme. I felt like was pretty apt to kind of the point you were making, where it's like there is a subset of people that definitely get into whatever is the hot thing. And they just like go from whatever collectible to whatever collectible.
Everyone yelling on what not selling something is that subset of person.
I mean, we know who
100%.
Those people are. Like we see them, they post all the time on Instagram, that kind of thing. And it's like, I mean, but I'm torn on it, you know, because it's like they're willing to do it. They're following the market and they're making their money doing it. So you know, but like I personally, I can't do it because I'm like with you, Manu. Like if I don't care about it, then I just can't get excited to like put the time into it. Now, the interesting thing though, for me, and this is why I've always just kind of like questioned this market. I've mentioned this, I think, in other videos, is that like I've said before, like I'm a huge anime fan. I don't read manga, but I'm a big anime fan, but I'm also a big like collectibles person. Like I have like sealed Pokemon or not sealed, but graded Pokemon and graded comics and all that stuff. Like you would think this would lean towards me. Like I would be a potential like person that would have interest in this, and I don't, you know, and that just kind of like makes me go, it's like, how many people really do care and how many are just buying it because it is currently that hot thing. And I don't know. And that's where it'll be the longer term will be interesting on how, like, did we just see like 10 years of growth in a month? And then it's just going to like trickle back down relatively slowly or quickly or whatever. And it's not going to do anything for a while. I have no idea.
You know, how much comes out of the woodwork, and I don't know the market well enough to know how much.
That's always the question. Like when something sells for $500,000, does somebody go like that? I think I mentioned this on a prior video. We talked about this. Like, does somebody go like, oh, I got a box of these somewhere, and they start coming out. Now, if they don't after a year, if they haven't come out, then it is probably legitimately rare in that grade. But I don't think you can say yet.
The big winner here is the no one's talking about is Beckett, because they're the only ones that grade this stuff.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
No one's talking about. We mentioned that on a show. I said that a few weeks ago. Like, this is great for Beckett. This is going to be a great billboard for them because everything's in a Beckett slab.
Man, those
Beckett
cases
overnight
are huge. They legitimately are like phone books.
Yeah, you could legit probably kill someone with one of those things.
We definitely
wait until Logan, because this like. And he actually, when you like actually think about it, he would fit it perfectly. Like Logan Paul in the live action One Piece almost like fits that universe perfectly. Like,
wow.
Wait, so how great is this
general state of being is like a One Piece live action character to some degree. If he shows up as someone in like season 4,
it could happen.
It could easily happen.
He's
like a cameo role or something, just in the background.
Do you think Logan Paul? Speaking of the giant brick thing, do you think Logan Paul would wear his giant manga brick on a gold chain to WrestleMania and to his debut on the One Piece Netflix season 4 premiere?
The risk of damage is much higher, I feel like, with something like that moving around, you know, like that might be tougher to pull off without damaging it. But one other thing, like where I try to be pretty careful about like the calling people posers or that kind of the attitude that goes into it is like the thing I always think about is there was a clip someone sent me where it was a guy who's like a big anime fan. And he said, you aren't allowed to like give your opinion on anime until you've watched at least 14 100 different anime. And I was like, what the hell is that crap? You know, it's like I watch a lot of anime and like at least 100 new series a year, and I'm not near that yet. Like, and I'm just like, that's ridiculous. Like the people that try to gatekeep this stuff, like, I mean, I get like they're just trying to find a method to attack, but I am not a fan of that one. Like people can get into the hobbies, they can enjoy things, like let new people get into something. And the really like the entry points for a lot of this stuff are going to be the big anime or the big manga, and One Piece, Dragon Ball, that kind of stuff. That's where people start.
And I mean, not for nothing, it's really cool that something out of nowhere sells for $550,000. Like, you know, good on everyone involved in profiting from it. That is
like
something
the Charizard Cheeto,
consider.
you know, Cheetozard.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Well, we
No, go
talked
ahead,
about how this is good for Beckett, but did we mention, like, is this like fantastic timing for PSA then with the acquisition? Because this is a PSA company now. And so this is fantastic for them. Just by chance, one of the biggest, most booming sort of talked about markets at the moment happens to be a brand.
I wonder how much they can handle on like flow through, like how much, because like
a bunch of CBC because they walked across the whole way.
I mean, but well, I mean, usually I think the limit would probably be the machinery for slabbing it. Like a lot of times, like that stuff can be difficult to get, and it's very custom. And they maybe only like they were probably grading like, who knows, like 100 a week or something, and now all of a sudden they had just like thousands and thousands get sent into them.
And I will tell you, they don't have too many people working on manga at the moment, slabbing them at the moment. And this isn't information I got from PSA. This is information I got from people that are grading mangas at the moment. And the people that are serious about getting them back are paying like whatever the top tier price is, because the weight is ridiculous at the moment. And so, you know, anyone that's trying to take advantage of the opportunity, which is what everyone should be doing if they have the ability to do so at the moment, they're paying a lot to get them graded.
Raws are getting big numbers too, though. So it's like, you could take advantage to some extent, unless you think you have one of those that's like the 9.0 type plus grade.
Right.
Yeah. I will say this, though, speaking of taking advantage, so little inside baseball story time from my end. I am in the Bay Area, originally from the Bay Area. My parents are there, and I went to my parents' house because I went to go visit. And my younger sister, shout out to Caitlin, who is like 6 years younger than me. So right in that Pokemon, manga, One Piece age range. She was always into this stuff. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, wait a minute. I think my sister has this stuff at my parents' house. So I went into, you know, her old closet, and I opened up one drawer, and what do you know? I'm rich, or at least my sister's rich, but I'm taking this all from her, and she's totally not watching right now, and she has no idea, but I'm going to seize all of these One Piece mangas right here. Unfortunately, I didn't see issue number 1, but in case anyone in the comments can let me know if I have a gold mine in there, let me know. But I thought that was
you're now one of those people that's like posting on Reddit, be like, what here's valuable?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that guy in the Facebook group everybody hates.
Yeah, totally. But I think that's funny because I too now am a big manga fan. I've been a collector for my entire life, and I, like Logan, am a day one. Speaking of benefiting, there was one other thing that I thought was interesting. You guys kind of mentioned it about like, what is the real One Piece market? Shout out to this content creator right here who I came across, Kaio Collects. He's somebody that does a lot of content about Dragon Ball Z TCG. And he made a video talking about Logan Paul when he did his big announcement. And he made this video where he said, like, hey, I think in the wake of this, all of a sudden you're going to see Dragon Ball TCG cards getting played on. And he then made a video where he did in fact confirm his prediction, where it's like, yeah, like these cards that were basically worth like $10, $20 or whatever, all of a sudden we're selling for like $100, $250, $400, things like that. So I kind of bring that up to sort of, you know, say, with all the excitement around manga, like I don't really know that people go into this space. They might just buy the first appearance comic book of Dragon Ball Z, which I think I saw somebody talking about, or they just, if they're a TCG person, they just jump into the Dragon Ball TCGs, or they just jump more into One Piece TCGs. So I don't know, something to always kind of keep in mind. But, well, I don't know, guys. I think that does our manga subjects. But, one final warning I think that is very, very important is that anytime this person gets into a category, there's a meme that category is ruined. And shout out to friend of the channel, Steve Aoki. But Steve Aoki, in this hype, has also come out and announced that he's, buying up a bunch of One Piece manga stuff behind him. And he also picked up this 9/6 graded copy of a Naruto animated series script. You mentioned it before, Manu, like the scripts, like people buying that up, and Jeremy Padawar had been talking about that. But Aoki kind of going big on it. I mean, what do you guys think about this specific collectible? These original TV scripts. I think they're fun, they're cool, but I don't know if I can really picture them as like a true collectible category.
I mean, the thing they have at least going for them is they have an image on the front. It's not like you're buying something where it's just like a text box where it says like that's what it's like this, the name of the episode or whatever. But I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm sure people will pump them and try to get as much for them as possible. But I think the better play is the colorful, things that present well, like the actual manga. I don't know. Like, none of it really interests me. So just like, it's hard to say. Like, it just all feels like people just trying to build a market, which is fine. But we know how that's played out in other markets that people have tried to build, and they do often end up stronger than they were before it all started, but they usually have this like big jump that then corrects back down to some new baseline. Just the question is, can you ride the wave to the top, or are you going to be the one that's trying to sell as fast as possible as you see things start to correct?
Yeah, I have a half-baked thought, but along the line, but about the scripts, I think they're cool. I like it. I like the idea. Like, I can buy into that being I like stuff like that though. Like, I naturally am into things like that. My personal collection is like random stuff. Like, even like novels from the 90s, they're like the unedited versions of them, that don't even come with the hardcover. And I'm just like, this is freaking cool. So I like that kind of thing. So I dig that. Yeah, just an interesting half-baked thought, just a question for no reason at all, really. Would this happen without the $16 million Logan Paul Pokemon sale? Was that necessary for this to work the way that it's working?
I'd say it played a big role. I mean, I've mentioned, like, I had 7 graded Pokemon cards, like some vintage stuff, and I sold 4 of them. It's almost, I did not like right when he had that sale, but within a month or two, because I was like, hey, like the prices just went crazy. I mean, vintage Pokemon had been flat for probably 3 years. Like it flat to down, like very little interest. Like, everybody was generally going after the more modern stuff. And then that card sold, and I got out of all of my cards back up. I had been in the red, and I got back into the black with those cards, and I sold. So it's like, I mean, I took the advice I give here where I'm like, sell into the hype. And that's what I did. And maybe they'll go up more, who knows, but I'm happy where I'm at.
So should we get Logan Paul some Spider-Man stuff?
Well, somebody mentioned Invincible. I feel like you have a better shot with Invincible. Like something where that's like really popular right now. That's a little more modern. I think that could maybe.
I think I need to talk to Logan about newsstands.
Yeah, or Mark Jewelers inserts.
Yeah,
you should have talked to him about Malibu.
You like jewelry, right? So
yes,
this is for. Have I got the comic for you?
Actually,
what would your feeling be if in like 6 months, Logan's like, check out this Malibu Sun that I just bought in this PSA 10 gold label for $500,000?
That could happen.
It could very much happen. Wow. It's interesting.
It's the reverse. I mean, not the reverse. It's just putting the shoe on your foot from that story you told earlier.
Yeah. No, it would be bittersweet for sure, right? Like, having a part in it would be awesome, but then like being like, holy cow, you know, like what the hell, right? But does one thing happen without the other? You know, you just never quite know. And you got to love your path or whatever. And then I would just make sure that he knew that originally it came from me so that I can sell him something. And that's that, you know. But that'd be pretty amazing. I do believe that the Malibu will go on to sell for a lot more later, and I'm going to celebrate it when it does. But someone's got to sell it
we don't
first.
know.
Shit.
You has like 8 more stacked under his desk ready to go.
There will not be another PSA 10 of that book, I don't think. And even after I've sold it, I still think there will not be another PSA 10 of that book. I don't know, but I don't think there will.
Well, I want to add a couple little thoughts on your question, Manu. I do think that you know, a lot of this type of the manga stuff definitely does not happen without the starting with the Logan Paul Pikachu card sale. I mean,
Yeah.
I think Pokemon was hot. It was getting more hot, you know, throughout the year. This is the 30th anniversary of Pokemon this year. But as far as his comic books play, it seems like, you know, when they talk about it, when I've heard Logan and Jeremy and even, you know, Gary Vee to an extent, they use kind of comic books as an example of a collectible market that has gained value over the years. So I think that they're probably not interested in it, not because comic books can't go up in value, but there's no more like massive delta that they can really capitalize on, like there would be for something super speculative, like manga in this instance, or like if all of a sudden they were like into graded CDs, like, you know, there's more upside there that they would probably be into than comic books, which, you know, we would call like mature collectible.
I apologize. You had a great thing going. I got distracted by a comment. Just one more time, just tell me what you were just saying, because I just need to follow. I'm sorry.
God.
I'm sorry, audience.
Oh
I'm
my
sorry, everyone.
God.
But wait, what?
We're gonna edit that out.
We're gonna just watch. Manu, you can watch the replay.
All right.
You can watch
Damn
the
it.
replay. We got to move on with the show here.
Okay.
We got to move on with the show.
Sorry, guys.
Don't worry. We're going to talk more about comic books, specifically Free Comic Book Day, in a second. But before we do, we got to give a shout out to the sponsor of our show, Heritage Auctions. Now, gentlemen, I barely need to introduce Heritage Auctions to you guys. Heritage Auctions is one of the premier auction houses in the world. But maybe what I do need to tell you guys about is that every single week, Heritage has weekly auctions for maybe some of your favorite comic books. If you head on over to the link in our description, you'll be navigated over to a page where you can see all of their auctions coming up. In fact, actually, you know, one thing that we maybe want to talk about, which is this week, they have their next signature auction event, which maybe we'll take a look at some of these books here. But here you'll see that every Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, they have weekly auctions where you can get some of your favorite books. And I have some of those auctions pulled up. And I have some questions for the panel here. But Rob, I noticed that tomorrow, or ending on, I should say, Monday, you got this nice copy of Journey into Mystery 83 in a 2.5 qualified label. It's got a married wrap in it, you know, so one of the pages was from another book. And then you got this Journey into Mystery number 85, first appearance of Loki in a blue label 3.0. The 2.5 first appearance of Thor might still be a little more expensive, but you know, I'm more interested in your thoughts here. Like, you a green label collector, or would you rather get the Loki here in the blue?
No, I'm going blue label 100% of the time. 100% of the time.
Blue label, no love, no love.
Plus, I like that book anyway. That's on my longer list of things to potentially grab at some point in time. Do they have any mangas? What's the manga action? I'm all in on Jumpman.
I'm converted.
They don't have mangas. They just ended a TCG sale where they did actually have some mangas, but you know, they got other things here, like some Pokemon here. Oh, here we go. They got art of anime.
They do have regular anime sales. I am aware of that.
I bet in this auction, actually, if we pull it up, I bet here we probably have some scripts, some anime sales in here. I mean, this could be a big one. Talk about, you know, speculation, but you know, all kinds of things. But let's kind of finish out with the comic talk here. I got another one for you, Ryan. If we go down here to the Silver Surfer, we got some of the best covers of the Silver Age. Silver Surfer number 1 in a blue 7.5, and then we have this Silver Surfer number 4. Many people argue the best Silver Age cover of all time, the classic Thor versus Silver Surfer in a blue label 8.0. I'll throw in the Silver Surfer 3. I feel like you're not going to pick it, but this is also the first appearance of Mephisto in an 8.0. What do you got here? 3 pretty high grade Silver Surfer books. What do you like?
Well, I mean, so I did a video recently where I did the top 10 Silver Age covers, and my number 2 was Silver Surfer 4. So that's definitely the one that I would pick in terms of my favorite. I do feel like Silver Surfer 3 does not get enough love. Like that cover is awesome. It really is.
It's
Like,
amazing.
especially when it's like a deep red like that. I do really, really like that cover.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, definitely, track that one. I might actually decide to pick that up as well. And then Manu, I had one for you as well that I picked out. If I scroll down to
You
the
thought
next
of
day's
me?
auction. What's that?
It's
Nothing.
good to know you're paying attention, you know?
I always think about you. Okay, I have this one. I mean, this may not be your typical, books here, but I think that this could be interesting as a theoretical discussion.
Okay.
You got a Batman 232. This is the first appearance of Ra's al Ghul, Liam
Okay.
Neeson's character.
Yeah.
And this one is signed by Neil Adams in a
I love it.
9.0 gold
Nice.
label.
Dope.
But then you have the classic Joker Batman cover 251 in an 8.0 lower grade, but it's double signed.
Yeah.
This one, Neil Adams and Denny O'Neil. So 2 signs versus 1 sign, but higher grade. How are we feeling here?
The Joker cover for me, I've only owned that book once, and it was very cool owning it. I like that cover a lot. I like that book. I'm going with the 251.
All right, 251. Well,
Yeah.
you guys can head on over to the link in our description. You guys can sign up for Heritage Auctions. Give yourself a chance to win some of those books. They have weeklies every Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. So definitely click the link down below. Would help out the show. Appreciate Heritage Auction for sponsoring our show tonight. But with that, let's kind of get into our next topic here. And this one is super interesting. Now, today we had Free Comic Book Day. For those who don't know, Free Comic Book Day is sort of the national holiday within the comic book space. It's a day where a lot of LCSs typically will give out free comics that are printed by the publishers they kind of promote their next storylines. It started years ago where an LCS shop owner just wanted to promote the hobby of comics, and it was just like sort of a marketing a celebration to bring people into stores. A lot of comic shops will do like big sales to kind of like do these cool events. It's really up to the store. But one of the interesting things about this particular Free Comic Book Day is that there is a free comic book in particular called Dungeon Crawler Carl. Now, Dungeon Crawler Carl is a novel that was written by Matt Dinneman that blew up. And notably, Brett Bean also did some artwork for this. You guys will remember Brett Bean as the creator of the Dork comic book. And one of the reasons why Dork got so popular was because the audience for Dungeon Crawler Carl was so popular. Anyways, I say all that to say, today, this was one of the free books that was coming out, this adaptation of a novel to a comic book. And instead of it being a free comic book, a lot of LCSs were actually selling this one. And here is a particular post on the Dungeon Crawler
Dirty
Carl,
flippers.
Reddit thread, yes, that said selling a free comic book. I thought the point of Free Comic Book Day was the free comic. Our comic book store is selling it. So you can see, get this for $10 or $50 if you want, to pick it up. There was another one here where you did Free Comic Book Day wrong if you got more than one copy, people getting mad at other flippers. There's another post here, Free Comic Book Day, don't forget to pick up this book. And then this person was complaining about all these scalpers are ruining fandom. I went into Free Comic Book Day and Dungeon Crawler Zero was all taken up. And now people are on eBay flipping this thing. And you can already see the aftermarket for a free comic book is selling for, $10, $14, $20. I'm sure by the time that the week is up, this is going to be one of those books that ends up on, a cover price hot list and things of that nature. I'm going to table the kind of conversation right there and just kind of throw it back to you guys. This is sort of that weird space once again, where like MSRP is dead. Like technically this is a $0 MSRP, but the aftermarket is making LCSs have to price it. What do you guys think about this story?
I mean, I'll say one thing that whenever I hear people in comments say like, oh, like kids these days don't read and this kind of thing, like the reason I know about Dungeon Crawler Carl is because of my niece who reads Dungeon Crawler Carl. And so now knowing, I didn't know that was one of the books in Free Comic, I may have to try to buy that one on the after. I'm going to be one of these people that's supporting the dirty flippers out there. And, I may have to go buy one just to send it to her. Cause that's pretty cool.
I don't know anything about, I mean, the comic book store charging for it, that feels a little, that feels a little.
It's scammy. It's scammy. It's
yeah,
scammy.
that's a little, yeah, that's like, come on,
Or
let the secondary market do what they want, but the comic book store is supposed to be the cheerleader for Free Comic Book Day. And interestingly enough, and anyone could correct me if I'm wrong, I do believe Free Comic Book Day was started here in the Bay Area at Flying Color Comics. And they've moved from their previous location to a new location, and it's quite a nice store. So shout out to them. They have no idea who I am. And there was, during the pandemic, there was an interesting thing that happened with the free comic book, and I was a dirty flipper, but it was my first time around. I didn't know, how these things worked. And there was an amazing Spider-Man book that came out that had Venom on the cover. It was a Stegman cover. It was a Donny Cates and Stegman book. It had Venom on the cover, Black Cat on the cover, and Spider-Man on the cover. But interestingly enough, it was the first appearance of a character called Virus. And the book was delayed. Free Comic Book Day was delayed because of the pandemic. All the stores were closed, right? So Virus, the appearance of Virus on a book that couldn't be released because of a virus. And so that made that book, in the moment, I actually am an appreciator of that narrative for that book. And I love that book. So I do have multiple copies. But I remember it started selling for like $80, $100, and they were still free at comic book stores. And so I remember calling some friends that had local comic book shops, like, just go to this shop and get this book, and then you're gonna have $100. And these are not comic book people, and they're like, wait, what? And I said, yes, that's what's happening right now. Just look at the eBay sales, just go get the book. And people did. They just went and grabbed 1 or 2 copies, because they were just standing by the door, or and that's what was happening. So if you couldn't find them at a shop, you were buying them on eBay for like $80. So the secondary market, great, whatever. But the comic book store, I don't know, it should still be free there.
Do you think the onus is on comic book stores to regulate this? Like typically, I think on Free Comic Book Day, generally comic book stores say like, oh, 5 per customer. Because usually the free comic books, they don't ever really resell. You can have 5. Like it's fine. It's good. Because the idea would be like you're giving it to your friends, you're giving it to your kids, nephews, nieces, things like that. So the idea of taking a bunch is actually a good thing. But every now and again, you sort of have a book like this that goes crazy. Do you think that, like that one Reddit thread said, where it's like, hey, if you took 2, you're piece of shit, for taking 2? Like, what do you think about that idea? Is that's supposed to be the shops that regulate that?
I mean, I think they should, but I don't think that they don't have to, but you want a good experience for the people that come into your store. So like that would be your reason for doing it, is that you don't want just some like jackass to come in and be like, here we go, and like takes the full stack and just walks out, which I'm sure happens. I'm sure that happens in some places, but
I'm sure it happens. Oh, and I wanted, my bad, I made a mistake from my memory. It wasn't the raw book that was selling for 100 again. It was the 9/8, and so the idea was to go grab a clean one, submit it real quick, and then it's $100. And it was my first time getting into grading and stuff, so I thought that was cool. Now that kind of seems like a waste of time, actually.
Yeah. Rob, you got thoughts on this one? Dirty flippers ruining the hobby?
I don't mind the idea of like slightly gatekeeping it to like, oh, okay, like you have books on the pull list every week, you could have it for free. Or like someone mentioned in chat, maybe $50 is too much to spend. Maybe it's like if you just buy something, you could get it for free. In this unique case where this one particular one has gone kind of crazy, to kind of limit it. But ultimately, it's up to the shop. Like the shop owner knows their customers that come in all the time versus the ones that don't. So it's kind of up to them to kind of police this to a degree, however they see fit. Like we've talked about in the recent months in sports cards about like shops cutting wax off of boxes and selling it for market price to prevent the scalpers from getting it in that case. So
I am still surprised how many people line up though for Free Comic Book Day. Like, I mean, when you see the pictures people post, like there are some serious lines, out the door waiting for that.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. I did see a bunch of people posting their lines. Actually, Rob, I want to ask you about that. Like, are shops still doing that? Like the breaking the seal thing? Is that still a real thing that's actually helping?
Well, it's tricky now because with a lot of the products, we're on wave 2 now. Like wave 1 sold out, and the wave 2 pricing is substantially higher. So the shops really can't sell it at a discount and cut the wrap, or they would be taking a bath on it. So that's where it gets tricky. It's kind of like a one and done when the product first comes out, and then you kind of have to wait for like the next new thing to come out to even be able to think about doing it again. Because Topps Chrome, they got for, I don't know, let's just say $300 a box, and it was reselling for $1,000. So they were cutting the seal and selling it for like $600. but then they got their second wave from Fanatics, and Fanatics charged them like 1,000 or 11 or 1,200 even in some cases. So they can't cut the seal and sell it for less anymore. They'd be losing $500-$600 a box if they did that.
Got it. One other little interesting story about Free Comic Book Day, just to kind of tie it back to that. Dungeon Crawler Carl had another cover that was an homage of Absolute Batman. And I actually made a video talking about all the Free Comic Book Day books. I made a little mistake in my video, but the point still remained that this is a book that actually did have a drop on Vault Comics, and they sold it for $10. But this book was branded as a Free Comic Book Day exclusive variant. I mean, you can see all the listings are talking about this being Free Comic Book Day. And now this book is one that's selling for $140, probably slash price $199. Typically, anywhere from $140 to $125. Basically selling, I mean, right around the A cover of Absolute.
That's what I was going to say. That's crazy. That's like the same price as cover A.
Exactly. So this is a very interesting book. Very, very interesting book. And I guess like kind of the bigger story, as it relates to this is, and maybe you guys don't have, too much opinion on this, is that it was a drop. Again, another like sort of dropy thing, although the drop was fine. But it's branded as this Free Comic Book Day book. And that's kind of like, it's the Free Comic Book Day exclusive cover, which I don't know, isn't there just such irony in that? Like, that you
I didn't even know that existed.
This, you're driving off the hype, and then I would assume that there's people that go into the shop thinking like, "Oh, can I pick up that book?" And they're like, "No, this is not."
And there's only 6,000 of those made, so that's actually pretty rare in the grand scheme of things for comics, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, that's a lot.
Oh,
6,000.
I mean, yeah, that's a lot.
Well, I would say that. Well, here's the thing. Let me clarify. I actually think Dungeon Crawler Carl is so huge that I think that might actually be a decent number for that property. But as your run-of-the-mill exclusive, I think a lot of the exclusives like are retailer exclusives, at least, are like more of the 3,000 kind of run. So that one could be a lot, but maybe it's not, because it's a huge property. And Ryan's going to probably buy like a bunch of copies himself.
They're
I'm not buying one for $150. Like my niece can get the cover. So,
I think they have a Kickstarter. Dungeon Crawler has a Kickstarter running right now for a tabletop version of the universe, and I think it's like way up there. Like I think it's, I don't know, you could maybe try to pull it up, Swags. I think it's like 8 million or something in Kickstarter. It's absolutely,
I think crazy. You're right. I think it's one of the biggest
it's probably rivaling the Critical Role one, if I had to imagine.
Yeah, I just know that like during Christmas, that was like, it was gifts related to that we were asked to get. So
I don't know if this is the one. This is a closed one that happened. Oh, last update April 17th. But this was a $3 million finish.
They have a new one, or is that maybe that is the one? I don't know. I thought they had one currently running, but I could be wrong. Regardless, they had one that did really, really well.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, it's not on Kickstarter. I guess it's on Backer Kit, which maybe is related to Kickstarter. But here you go, $9 million right here.
Holy smokes!
38,000 backers. That's insane.
With 13 days to go, because a lot of times you'll see a huge bump the last few days. Is there actually is there any like good backer exclusive? Is there like a backer exclusive comic or anything in there?
Let's take a look. So it's a role-playing game, so it'd be probably similar to like a D&D type of module that you would get out of this.
I watched the video on it earlier today, actually. Funny enough.
Yeah. So it's got some nice toyage right here. You got a nice little play pieces that it comes with. Stretch goals, art prints, loot cards. Hey, cards, achievement cards. Doesn't look like there's necessarily like a comic book or anything like that comes with it, but I think the point remains that this has quickly become maybe one of the biggest IPs that exists right now within at least like the nerd space and nerd fandom. So maybe the 6,000 print run of that one cover is not going to be that much in the grand scheme. Maybe it really will be a book that is kind of like a low-key modern key from here on out.
Logan Paul will have one in 10 years.
Yeah. Well, actually, someone said it in the chat. I think that was kind of funny. Like, do we need to add the Dungeon Crawler Carl Absolute Batman variant as something to our Dork versus Absolute Batman conversation. Which one's more valuable at the end of the year? I mean, maybe the Dungeon Crawler Carl book will be the winner.
Man, I don't want to take on that one though, because that
it could be just because of supply.
Yeah, and like the question is, what's the crossover between Dungeon Crawler Carl readers and comic book readers? It's like
comic books, Ryan. What are you
exactly?
Yeah,
that's my point. so yeah, I don't know. I feel like it would be like the parents of the kids that read the book and they're like, hey, I'll get this thing. Like that feels like maybe the crossover.
Ryan, I don't know if you know this, but once it's a CGC 9.8, you can't read it anymore. Duh.
That's true. Yeah. It's sealed forever.
Jeez.
Mangas are meant to be read. Well,
mangas are meant to pay for your car.
True. Or mangas are meant to pay for what could be the next big set coming out of the Magic the Gathering universe. But guys, it's MagicCon in Las Vegas this weekend. I actually kind of have a little bit of FOMO. I kind of wish I went to it. But at MagicCon, their version of a comic book con exclusive to the Magic the Gathering universe, they unveiled their next Marvel set here. So we got some Marvel card adjacent content for Manu. But we all know that last year they came out with their Magic Marvel Superman set. This time they have a new set that's called Superheroes, which effectively is their Avengers set. They would have called Avengers, but I probably think that they can't use the name Avengers. So this one is Marvel Superheroes, and they had a couple of previews of cards. This one being obviously a card of Vision that was actually drawn by Mark Spears, by the way, if you guys recognize his art right there. They have another one here that's of the Vision. They have announced the next Mind Stone is going to be the next massive chase pull from this set. So there's the base card right there. Previously in the last set, it was the Soul Stone. And then they had the Cosmic Foil version, which the Cosmic Foil Soul Stone had sold for like 45,000 recently at Heritage Auction. This will be the next big chase pull out of this one, the Mind Stone. So seemingly they're going to be doing all of the Cosmic Stones, in the various Marvel sets to come. People in the comments clearly excited about this one. Or maybe not. Avengers, leave Magic alone. More UB slop. Can't wait for the diners, drive-ins, and drive sets. People not very happy about them doing kind of the Universes Beyond stuff, but they did have Paul Bettany go to MagicCon to kind of announce this. So that was kind of interesting, kind of cool to have the Vision there in attendance. But guys, what do you think about this? I mean, next Marvel card set. Rob, are you in on this one? Manu, you interested in collecting these cards as a Marvel trading card guy? What do you guys think about this?
The drama on this one is that it's 2 Marvel sets in a row that they didn't put a serialized card in the product. So that's
they aren't allowed to, right? I thought they literally couldn't.
We don't really know for sure. They're not very opaque with how that license works, but that's most likely the case because they put a serialized card in most other collector boxes, but the Marvel ones don't have it. So there's probably something somewhere in some contract that says that they can't. Otherwise, you would think that they would. And there was rumors that the original Spider-Man was supposed to have a serialized card and they had to pull it at the last minute because of something. We don't really know what, but that's probably, even though the Infinity Stone sells for a crap ton of money, the fact that it's not serialized is probably going to ding it a little bit. And the Spider-Man boxes still don't sell that well. They're still pretty cheap. Like you can get a collector's box for like $325, I think.
Yeah, I pulled.
Didn't they originally retail at 400 or what did they originally?
500, yeah.
Yeah, they originally retailed at 400, but sort of in that hype phase, as you guys know,
they had gotten
after the initial drops. Yeah, went up to like 1,100, I think, at some point.
Yeah, because Final Fantasy was selling for like 1,500, and people were like, "Oh shit!" And then they went in and Spider-Man. Part of the problem was that the cards kind of sucked in this set, from what I've heard. I don't play Magic competitively anymore, but I don't think that the set was very good from that perspective. And some of the cards look cool, but for the most part, like they didn't even really hit with me. And I'm a Marvel card collector, and I like Magic the Gathering. So if they were going to hit with anyone, you would think I would be the target audience for it. And even I was kind of like, eh.
How dare you? I thought that they were cool.
How many boxes? Yeah, how many boxes do you have?
Yeah.
I might be sitting on pallets of them, but at the same time, I just think that they're
cool.
cool.
Did you see that you lost all your money on your League of Legends investment?
We have not lost our money on the League of Legends.
You do not lose until you sell.
We're still in the first half. Okay. There's plenty of game to go.
They did a big reprint and it tanked the price. This is your time to buy back. You can buy even more now.
That's when you buy more. This is when, this is when we should be buying in.
That's true. That's true. Manu, what do you think about this Marvel card set right here? Or he's got to jump. He's having a hard time with the internet.
That too. I don't even know if you guys can hear me right now. So
We can
I
hear you.
apologize. Okay, so I'm not completely ruining the stream, but I am going to make it difficult for Swag to clip this. I apologize. Yes, I do have to go, but I will talk about. I'm going to look into this. I enjoyed the Spider-Man Magic one. I want to see some more of the art on this. I never did hear that rumor that Neo just mentioned that there was supposed to be a serialized card in that set. I didn't know that. That's kind of
The
interesting.
Infinity Stone that sold for a bunch of money was originally that was the rumor, is that was supposed to be serial numbered.
Interesting. Okay. No, I'm into it.
To point out, just to add to that, like, the previous set was the Final Fantasy one. The Golden Chocobo was like the big pull from that. That one was serialized. And yes, the conversation has been that maybe they don't have the license to do serialized cards because maybe Topps has that exclusive. That's sort of the theory.
Okay.
It seems like Magic would just do serialized. Like, why wouldn't they? And as far as it stands right now, it's not like the Cosmic Soul Stone has been pulled like a billion times. So it does feel, anecdotally at least, that it's probably still within the numbered range.
Yeah.
So
yeah. But I look forward to seeing it. Love you all. I'm gonna jump. The guys know, but see you all later, friends in chat in 2 weeks. All right.
Manu's got to go. I wasn't sure if he actually had to go because he actually is seeing Devil Wears Prada, or is that like a little bit of a joke?
Oh no, I'm not
I don't
watching
think
Devil
he's
Wears
seen it
Prada
tonight.
tonight. I was just about to leave too, but no, I'm not watching Devil Wears Prada tonight. I am going to watch it. I'm happy to know this out. I've got some other thing to do, and plus my internet as crapped, so it's the perfect time to get out of here.
Last
He's got a
thing,
Netflix
Manu,
and
before I
chill.
let you go.
Okay.
Before I let you go, Manu, as we get into our next topic here, I kind of need you for this one real quick. Just give me a quick little hot take.
Sure.
But Gary V recently had a video where he came out talking about the next big collectible, and he was talking about, 1940 Superman cards and some of the original first for Marvel, still banging the Donruss drum. And then also, I guess implied in that is the Batman set too, 1966 Batman. But what do you think about him promoting this again? Any other thoughts here?
I love this. I love this. I just purely love. I mean, for one, and this is gonna sound so bad, guys. Just give me a break. For one, I didn't miss the boat on this, right? But also at the same time, it's my boat. I was on this boat before anyone told me to get on it, right? So like, I love everything about this. The 1966 Donruss stuff. I don't have the 1940 Superman card. That's not what I mean. But 66 Donruss I've always been such a fan of, and well, I mean, for a number of years. And so I love it. And that Batman card, I think, is sick. And the prices keep going up on it, which is amazing. So, yeah, this pump, I'm all about it. I love this stuff. And I think he's right. I don't know where values are going to go, but it's historically significant. It is these characters' first time appearing on a card. And I like that he's so passionate about fictional characters' first appearances. I think that's how he sums it up when he talks about it. And I'm on board completely.
All right. Well, good take there. We'll let you go. And as I kind of throw it back to the other guys, but Manu, we'll catch you on the next show.
Good night, everyone. See you later. Everyone be well. Bye.
Everybody.
Later. Rob, I kind of want to throw it to you with this one here. Like, from the TCG side, we've talked about the Donruss stuff and people finding the significance of them getting pumped because of like Gary V. But like, I've noticed a lot of the like rookie cards, at least more recently, have been hot. Whether they be like, oh, the first Cloud from Final Fantasy, or like, oh, the first, I don't know, Garfield, or whatever it is. Like, are people skeptical of this, or is this like real sentiment in the community, or is this just like a top down Gary V's talking about it, therefore?
I think it's just more like, well, this one went up, so this other one's probably too cheap. I should just get this now because it's not that expensive, in the hopes that the wave, hits those other ones as well. It's kind of like, well, if the Spider-Man one's selling for this, then the Batman's too cheap. And then if it's like, well, it's the Batman's too cheap, then the Superman's too cheap. And you just kind of keep going down the list until you get to like like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I know Gary V's talked about them quite a bit as well. And I think a lot of that stuff too, especially in high grade, probably doesn't exist. Like, there's probably a lot of those Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle cards from the 80s and early 90s but how many of those are actually in good condition? You start getting into that game, like that stuff wasn't thought to be collectible back then, like a lot of this other stuff. So especially in high grade, I could see some of that stuff getting quite the rise. And there's an advantage if you already have it, because the pop reports are so small, most likely that there's just not a lot of it to go around in the early days. Even if a bunch of it comes out of the woodwork, like we were talking about earlier with the manga stuff, it still has to go through the process. You have to send it in the PSA. That's going to take a couple of months. Even if you send it, I just sent a card express, $150 a card. It took a month to get back to me, and that was their posted turnaround time. So even if you pay up, it's still going to take you some time to get it back, and a lot can happen in that period of time. So I think that's what's going on. It's more like a land grab, almost like we mentioned earlier with the companies, but this time on the collector side of things, of like just looking around going like, well, that hasn't gone up yet. Let me just grab some of it, especially because some of this stuff isn't that expensive yet.
Right. Someone in the chat made the joke about like, oh, are there, manga rookie trading cards, which, funny enough, I mean, there kind of are, right? I was curious. It made me think, like, we haven't talked about One Piece in a while. Like, what's going on with the One Piece card stuff? Like, has the manga hype taken some of the wind out of the sails of the One Piece cards, or was that like a whole different thing?
It's actually, I haven't dug super deep, but on a macro level, things are slowly starting to creep back up again. Like, it had its run up, it had its retracement, and now it's kind of like all that inventory has kind of changed hands. And now the inventory is slowly starting to dry up again, because everyone bought at the really high prices isn't going to be willing to sell yet. So it's kind of slowly starting to creep up again on a macro level sense. I don't know like about each individual card, but generally speaking, the One Piece market is starting to slowly pick up steam again. It's not like going like this like it did before, but it really didn't take... It took a hit, but it wasn't like a post-COVID comic book nosedive in prices or anything like that. So I think it's actually in a pretty good spot, to be quite honest with you.
Is that true, Ryan? I'm leaning on you for like a little bit of a Pokemon report. I haven't really heard much about Pokemon ever since Logan Paul's thing. I mean, we've shared some videos of like Pokemon robberies and murders and all this crazy stuff in the Poke streets. But like, what about the card values and stuff, or what's kind of going on there? Like, you have any sense?
Well, I mean, like I said, like vintage really took off. So that has definitely gone back up again. The modern stuff has, I wouldn't say it's like corrected, but like massively, but a lot of the prices have come down some in a lot of the modern cards that people were chasing. They're still very expensive. There's still tons of demand for this stuff, but those, like if you go to like TCG Player and you kind of look at the trends and the prices, like a lot of them did start like turning back down. And I always like to use an example like my older brother gave me for comics during the comic boom. It's like the collectible market like can't necessarily look in all directions at the same time. And so people will they're like, oh, this is the thing that's like focused on right now. Then it's this thing, and then it's this thing. And that's kind of how it goes. And it's just how much is it going to correct when people are looking at the other thing? I still like the fact that I see so many people in comment sections, in videos, and on Reddit and all this stuff go like, oh, Pokemon goes up 50 to 60% a year. It's like, once you start seeing that stuff, you're just like be careful, because that's what it's like the adage of like the shoe shine boy giving, stock advice and that kind of stuff. It's like, be careful, because if that's what you're like counting on, because for people that are, like younger audiences, that kind of thing, like if you aren't familiar with like what are normal returns on things, those are not normal. Those generally cannot sustain for long periods. Things that can sustain for long periods tend to be like 10 to 15%. And, it's like, so when you see something go up 60% or 100%, there's usually some type of snapback that's going to come with that. But, who knows? Maybe it will. Maybe it will go 50 to 60% every year forever. But yeah, that stuff I'm always leery when I start seeing people say that.
Pokemon Sealed is running very hot right now, both especially in the modern side of things. Like Ryan said, some of the single stuff was retraced a little bit, but some of the brand new sets, like Ascended Heroes just came out. That stuff is going absolutely crazy. both the singles and the sealed. Like ETBs that are $50-$60 at Walmart are going almost already to $200.
Well, I don't. That's what I saw at Staples, and I was like, man, I should have bought some of those.
You see Extended Heroes, just buy it.
Yeah, it was the individual sleeves, you know.
Anything Extended Heroes, just buy it. Go run back there tomorrow and go clear them out.
I was like, I don't want to be that guy who's just like, here we go. It's like,
Ryan just picks up the whole display and sticks it in his cart and wheels the cart.
Well,
up.
I've heard people say that. They're like, I asked if I could buy the display, and they said okay. I'm like, man, just imagine like walking like my wife was in the car waiting for me, and imagine me coming back out with a display of Pokemon cards.
If you walk out, I feel like it's totally plausible that if you walk out of any big box store carrying a bunch of Pokemon, you're gonna have like Poke paparazzi like run up and film you
God.
for clout. You're like,
Flipper.
look at this dirty flipper right here.
God, the worst. But
yeah. It's interesting. I mean, we had such a huge year with the Pokemon stuff, you know, with the Logan Paul sale and then in the 30th anniversary. And I think even, you know, Pokemon did come out with some content related to things. I mean, maybe they're going to have another huge like promotion at San Diego Comic-Con or, you know, something. I don't really know. I'm just kind of throwing it out there. But you have to think at some point, like, there might be a little bit of a lull. Not to say that Pokemon's going to go back down. I think it's obviously a true brand that's going to withstand at least the test of time for a while, but there's going to be probably some retracement.
Images of this. They did a promo giveaway in Korea or something, I think, in the last couple of days. And they had to shut it down. Like, just Google like Pokemon.
Just like murders in the streets or something.
Just Google like Pokemon promo Korea or something. I don't know the specifics, but it'll probably pop up on a quick Google search. Yeah.
40,000.
Pokemon event canceled in South Korea after 40,000 people flood Seoul Forest. The crowd had started lining up since early morning to get a hold of the rare Magikarp Pokemon promo card, one of the franchise's characters. So
the photos from this are crazy. Some of the ones
Yeah.
that I saw. I don't know if that has more images if you scroll down or not, but some of them were like wild. It looked like just mass chaos at that thing.
I'm torn with this stuff because like I was watching a video recently from Alpha Investments, and he had made a comment where he's like, he doesn't blame these people who are like camping out in front of the vending machines and all. It's like this is a result of how Pokemon is running things and how these companies are running things. And maybe they want it that way. You know, maybe they want this insane hype around the stuff. And it's just like people, you know, make fun of them and mock them. They're like, oh, get a real job. It's like, it is a real job. You know, like what's the difference? Like they're doing something to make an income, and maybe they're horrible people while they're doing it, you know, I guess. But like, as long as the market's there, like, I don't know. I don't want to justify like people getting in fights and all that kind of stuff, but unless there's somebody like managing this, then it's going to do what it's going to do. And I don't know, like, yeah, it's tough because I know people get really upset about all this kind of stuff, but I mean, until somebody has a handle on like the sealed product and the pack ripping culture that's out there right now, like paying people to open packs, like I just don't see this going anywhere. I mean, I think we talked about that in the last video, like just about the whatnot streams and everything. And I just like the sealed product stuff, unless Pokemon just starts printing a ton more, it's not going away. And I just don't know if they want it to. Like, I don't know if I'm sure they talk about it in their boardrooms, but like this type of craziness can only be good for their business. I don't know. I think that like if the thing you're selling has this kind of hype behind it, it's not bad for you.
It feels like it's a fine line to walk of like having everything sell out instantly, but also not like pissing off your core base.
Yeah.
Like you do have to worry about like that for the long term. Like in the short term, it's probably great. They are probably doing some long-term damage to their core base of like kids not being able to readily get it, people that play, etc. But I will, of all the major companies, Pokemon probably handles it the best Because it would be very easy for them to just be like, print this stuff to the
Well,
ground.
Pokemon doesn't reprice, from what I understand, like Topps does. Like they just they
Well, they don't, but the distributors.
the
do.
distributors do.
Yeah. Well,
They
you know what's interesting. What's interesting about what you're saying, Rob, is that I might be wrong here, but I feel like the sentiment is not like, how dare the Pokemon company? It's always these like flippers are buying the
It's
stuff.
the flippers, not Pokemon.
Yeah, so they've been able to kind of like Mayweather sidestep like any of the negative criticism, whereas something like Wizards of the Coast, like they get a lot of like, oh, WotC is doing, you know what I mean? So like, I don't know, Pokemon has been nimble enough to not bring on that backlash.
And I'll say like one thing though that like Alpha Investments again brought up that like it feels like it's kind of Pokemon's fault. It's like he's like, why aren't they just printing booster boxes, like constantly booster boxes? He said instead they're printing these like special, you know, like packaging things that have a very small percentage of the packs compared to, you know, booster boxes and take up way more space on pallets and this kind of thing. And it's like it feels like they don't really want to fill the demand. But
I think what they're trying to do is have their cake and eat it too. They know they are trying to keep like booster box bros happy, like me, that like want to buy it and stick it on a shelf. They want to play to us because they need us around for when the times aren't as good, that they have a backstop there to buy this product up and that's willing to sit on it. So they want to throw us a bone almost by saying like, here's your booster boxes, you guys do your thing, and wink, wink, nudge, nudge. We won't print these completely into the ground. We'll go over here and make the ancillary products to get them in hands of people that actually want to like open the packs or like kids or whatever, because those are geared more towards retail stores, etc. So I think that's how they're trying to balance it out a little bit. Or they'll use like on specialty sets, they won't print a ton of ETBs. And the ETBs are very collectible because there's not booster boxes for those products. People like to display the ETBs. Like the ETB itself is almost a collectible regardless of what's inside the box.
Yeah.
And they'll print those, but they won't print a ton of them. And then they'll use the little booster bundles. I don't know if I have any laying around here or not. Actually, I do. They'll use these to get packs to market. Instead of printing more ETBs of this, they'll print a shit ton of these. So it's like they're protecting the value of the ETB and the people that are willing to air quote hold on to it, but they'll use these to get actual packs to market. So they're still printing the products, but they kind of divvy up the SKUs a little bit because booster boxes are a collectible on their own. ETBs are a collectible on their own, not even counting like the packs and the cards inside. It's like a market inside a market inside a market.
Yeah. It seems at this point that they know what they're doing. They have to know what they're doing. You know, and I think that they probably value the value that the secondary market gets, and I think that they, you know, are not concerned with leaving quote unquote meat on the bone, because in an odd way, I think leaving meat on the bone is giving them a longer runway for the product altogether. One thing that I think is interesting is, I forgot to mention this in our Magic the Gathering conversation, is that at Magic Con, you know, there was a PSA Magic card exclusive that featured Thanos on it, and secondary market prices for this pretty good right now. You know,
how did you get that? Was it like at their table or something? Or
so if you went to PSA's booth, I believe maybe you had to submit a card and you would get this as a giveaway. Okay. I don't know if they have on-site grading right now at PSA, but
this is the magazine promo as well.
There's
going to be a lot more of these coming to market. So if you really want this card, maybe hold off, because it's coming in the main magazine.
Good advice. Someone could not hold off and paid $400 for. Is this one not even graded? It's just authentic.
No, it's not authenticated. That's hilarious.
That's hilarious.
There's also a they teased this on Instagram. I saw Elizabeth share it, that there is a SP version of this card that looks really good. It's similar art style to the Thanos with the glove in front of his face. I believe, that looks really, really cool. As soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, that's going to go for
similar to this.
Kind of like that. Yeah, I think so. I'll see if I can find it.
Yeah, that is a really cool art.
Yeah, definitely cool art. Actually, it would be kind of cool. This one done by Lanil Francis Yu. I don't know if the OA for this actually exists, but that's kind of like a sneaky little OA play I think about, where it's like sometimes you have the art assets being reused, because I believe this is a image out of the Infinity Gauntlet storyline that was like the later on one, the 2018 one or something like that. So I don't know. It kind of would be cool to see if this art actually exists, because like you guys said, I think that this one is really, really cool looking. Speaking of some cool Magic the Gathering stuff, over on Golden Auctions, Ken Golden just made this post right here where he says the holy grail of Magic the Gathering is going up for auction. And what these are uncut sheets of playtest cards for the original Magic the Gathering when it was initially created. Obviously, if you guys aren't familiar, whenever you make games, you do like the play testing. So you kind of rough out some cards, you just kind of write them down, you print them out, and then you throw them into sleeves, and then people can kind of play test the cards before you decide to actually do the full artwork and do the full printing, et cetera, et cetera. But these ones are uncut sheets that are actually in CGC slabs. I think that this probably comes out of CGC's like flyer grading department, or I think they have something where they do kind of specialty things like this. But I don't know, pretty cool piece of Magic the Gathering history. It did say that these are the gamma play sheets, meaning like, say, playtest number 3 or 4 or something like that. But kind of cool. I mean, Rob, you're kind of like getting into the alpha collecting game. Would you want to make a play on any of these things?
That's beyond my price range. If I would have flipped some Jumpmans, maybe I could afford this, but it is cool. That would be a cool thing to have for sure.
Yeah. What do you think of like pre-materials in general? Like pre-artwork, like say that there was like a discovery of, the Pikachu Illustrator pre-print, copy or something like that. Are there any kind of cases in sports cards or TCGs where people like go crazy for this stuff?
Sports cards, not really that I can. I'm sure there's probably something that I'm just not thinking of, but most of that's photography, not.
Yeah, I feel like it would be like what the original photo or something. Like,
yeah, there was some hype around like vintage Type 1 photos for a hot minute that specifically related to like a significant event or piece or appearance. Like if it was like a Time magazine cover and it was the Type 1 photo of it, those would sell for like a ton, stuff like that. It's cool. It's just stuff that I know I'm never going to be able to afford. Like, because it's the ultimate 101. It's basically like the like that version's OA, kind of, to a degree.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the interesting thing though, like on the original art side of things, like the preliminary art usually does very poor compared to like the actual like used piece. So, I mean, I don't know an exact percentage, but I'd say 10%, something roughly like that.
Do you think that's because it has the competition of the actual OA to compete against?
Well, that's what I'm wondering. Like, is there anything else like equivalent, or is that really just like the only original piece that exists?
Yeah, like if someone had, say, like a sketch or a prelim of a popular piece of art that they ended up doing digitally, so there's not like an actual OA of it, would that sell for OA prices? Like if an OA didn't actually, like if that was air quote the OA in this digital age, like they sketched it out loosely before they took it to the tablet or something, I wonder if that would sell better because it doesn't have that OA kind of hanging over its head. Yeah. And maybe part of it's just presentation. Like a lot of that stuff just doesn't look as good. I
was going to throw that out. Like maybe it's just aesthetics. Like, people just don't want to pay a premium for something that they just don't think looks that cool. And not to say that the preliminaries look bad, but like if it's kind of a quick sketch or whatever, like who really, compared to like the OA, like it like you just are going to value a piece that looks so much better. And actually, you kind of reminded me, like, I do think that the Golden Auction set is really cool, just like as for what it is. But I do know a little bit of the history of like when he made the cards, a lot of that artwork is like him pulling just random references of like, oh, I need like a fireball spell. So I'm just going to grab like a picture of a hand on the internet and just like put it on clip art and then print out the card. So it's not like art on those cards.
You're more buying
like maybe
history
people don't think
art.
they're cool. What's that?
You're buying like the history of it more than the art of it.
Exactly. Yeah. So maybe it's aesthetics. Well, shout out to Hurton right here with the $2 Canadian who says Shock Suspense 6 versus Vault of Horror 35. course, Shock Suspense 6 is the iconic, classic Wally Wood cover that has the Klansman with the girl in the bondage. And then Vault of Horror 35 is the Christmas cover with the axe murderer with his wife, the casket to my wife. Ryan, which one are you going with on these two classics?
I mean, well, considering Vault of Horror 35 is like my favorite EC cover of all time, that one. So Vault 35.
There it is. Rob, you got an opinion on either of these?
Tree.
Say that again?
I said I'm a sucker for a Christmas tree.
I'm going to round it out, and I'm going to say that I also would pick the Vault 35. I used to own that book, and then I sold it, and haven't been able to pick it back up because it's always so expensive. But very, very cool. All right, let's kind of go on now to kind of our final remaining stories here. I just have a couple kind of quick little interesting things to talk about that I thought would be kind of fun. I mean, there was this post right here that Rob, you shared with us that went kind of crazy viral for like, I don't really know why, like some of these posts just all of a sudden go crazy, but this person said, insane find, a guy bought a $10 comic book at Goodwill only to find out that it was signed by Stan Lee and a bunch of other legendary comic book creators. Here's the comic book right here. And when he opened it up, he got all of these signatures in it, which is definitely kind of a cool find. I'll let you guys comment on this particular item, but I kind of want to ask, like, have you guys had any big come ups like this? Have you ever found anything that like in a random store that is like your coolest, like, oh dude, I found this one grail in a farm one time. Do you have any stories like that?
Nothing like that. I thought the most interesting commentary on this, and you could even see one of the when I saw this was someone retweeted it with a comment similar to that top one right there that you're highlighted over. It's like, it's kind of sad that this person probably dedicated a large portion of their life getting this. Like, how many lines did this guy wait in, or girl, to put this together?
That's true.
And like, no one in his immediate circle knew that this existed. Like, maybe this, I don't know, maybe this person was single, maybe they didn't have immediate family or whatever. But like, the fact that this was like a huge passion project of this person's, and then someone didn't even realize that they had it and it just got donated, is like, that's kind of the weird, I don't want to, not weird, but just like the dark part of this story is that this existed and he had this in his life, and it was probably one of the most important things that he had maybe in his collection, and it just ended up in a Goodwill bin. Like, that kind of makes me sad.
I mean, I made a video very relevant to this recently, and where I was talking about people that were basically trying to either pare down their collections, or what do you do when you're getting older and you want to sell things so that it doesn't just all get like given away or whatever. And it's like, exactly, like, people expect their family to care about things as much as they do. But when you see like someone that has 10,000, 20,000, 50,000 comics, they're just like, F this, like, I'm not going through that. And they'll like either, dump it off at Goodwill, or, sell it in bulk to some dealer or whatever. And it's like, if you have things that are very meaningful to you, let family or friends or whatever know. And so that they can, and make sure for things like this, like, make sure they know it's potentially valuable. Like, so then they actually will, the person that you care about gets the value out of it, instead of the random person that, found it at Goodwill. Now, my kind of joke with this is like, you could be like, congratulations, you just got a $1,000 bill from JSA. It's like how much would that get to like get those authenticated, even though I'm sure they're real, it's like, if it's in a situation like this, actually, but if you wanted to get that authenticated, like, holy crap, that is going to cost you a ton of money.
Yeah,
that's something you send to like Heritage or whatever and be like, go ahead, I'll consign this with you. You guys do the work.
Or just sell it. Yeah. Be like, because like, because if they get it graded and then it sells for less than the JSA bill, you're like, did I just pay Heritage to sell?
Yeah, you definitely would. Actually, I don't know. Yeah, I wonder if it would actually even get the presumed value. Like, let's say like each one of these people's signatures costs, say, anywhere from $50 to $150.
I highly doubt Heritage is paying the full freight on the JSA fee.
Well, but a lot of times, like when this happens, like, you get the you know, the fee for that, and they back out your sales costs. But yeah, maybe they would be like, I don't know what this is going to sell for. Like, we don't know how we're going to handle this one. But yeah.
Well, plus this one now has like the story behind it.
I feel like this one would sell better ungraded though. But it's just kind of my tongue-in-cheek joke about the cost.
Because you almost want to be able to see it.
Yeah,
like we joked earlier about being able to read it. Like, I think you actually want to be able to open this and look at it.
True, but imagine this. What if you sent it into JSA and it was like, yeah, John Romita, that's good. Danny Fingeroth, that's good. And it's like 80% of them are good, and then actually it's like, oh, 20% of them are forged.
I think you can't get the gold label then. I think you get a blue label if that was the case.
Oh man, could you imagine? Like, what if one of them?
There is that. I'm looking at it sideways. Can you tell, Swags?
What, the JRJR one?
Yeah, the little Spider-Man eye one.
Well, that would be John Romita Jr.
Okay, that's I didn't know what his signature looked
like. And then I can always recognize Frank Miller's signature from a mile away. My God. Always.
You got Herb Trimp here. You got Steranko, I think is that one. You got Marie Severin, John Romita Jr., Danny Fingeroth. Some of these ones are harder to read for me. Dick Ayers, Art Adams. So a lot of heavy hitters. And then Stan Lee was on this page right here. So back in 1995, there it is, dated. So, but yeah, kind of a crazy story. And I kind of agree with you. You know, you got to have a plan on what you want to do with your precious collectibles. And maybe you need to sometimes sell them before you think that you pass on with them, like this guy did. Groom to Be sells vintage Pokemon card collection to pay for entire dream wedding.
Boy, the comments were brutal. Wow. The comments were brutal.
So good.
Yikes.
Yeah, like poor guy, he'll regret this later. Yeah, poor guy, he'll regret this later. To blow your retirement fund in a single night, you know. I thought that this was pretty funny, but
oh man,
what would you guys sell your comic?
He looks
for?
thrilled. He looks absolutely thrilled in that picture.
I mean,
she looks excited. She's like, I got the wedding of my dreams. I didn't have to pay for a thing.
Yeah, this she's happy.
Great.
She
got rid of all
two birds with one stone. She was like, yeah, she killed two birds with one stone. She got her wedding, and she got to have him get rid of his stupid Pokemon collection.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'll say, like, I think when I read it, like, he thought he was only going to get like a few $100 for them. I think it's something like that. And he ended up getting thousands. So, I mean, it's like, he got a lot more than he was expecting. He probably wasn't thinking this would pay for their wedding. And so for them, like, if you look at it that way, it's, I did not get the impression it was like, sell these to pay for the wedding kind of thing. It was like, this ended up being a big windfall that they weren't expecting, just because, like I said, vintage cards like he's got on there have gone up a lot. Because it looks like, I mean, it's hard to see in that picture, but I think a lot of them are like first edition cards. I can see the little like black circle down in the left corner. So, I mean, that plays a big part in the value there.
What's really going to make him sick is the person that bought them all, grades them, and then sells them for 10x.
Oh yeah, yeah, that would be.
Oh God.
Yeah, joking, like what you were talking about before, like making sure someone you knows like what to do with your stuff. I can't tell you how many times I've told my wife and my niece, who's quite a bit, because we don't have kids. I'm like, listen, before you sell shit, just look it up on eBay first and click sold listings before you just randomly start giving stuff away.
If it's in a slab or graded, like,
yeah,
look it up.
If you can't read it, if you can't open it and read it, that means it's more expensive.
I've definitely told some of my family members and stuff that was like, here's a couple numbers I want you to call. You know, there's a couple of people that if anything ever happens to me,
before, I'm like, okay, you know, if something happens to me, like, you could talk to Swaggle House about the comic book stuff, like talk to Dustin and Steve about card stuff, like.
Yeah, I'll definitely, you know, she can give me a call and I'll be like, oh yeah, this stuff is totally worthless. Just send it to me.
Yeah. Then Swag will have the YouTube video of him, like, as a 70-year-old, of like, look at this great collection I got. Yeah, can't wait to flip all this.
Found Neo's collection for pennies on the dollar.
Oh man, yeah, that would be amazing video.
Yeah. Is there anything that you guys would sell your collection for? I was just thinking about this. Like, you know, he sold it for, you know, seemingly a good thing, you know, is his wedding and stuff. Could you imagine you let go of those precious collectibles? I guess if you wanted to ever buy a house again or something like that. I guess, I don't know. I don't know if there's anything interesting
like
about that question.
Like, I assume we're putting the parameters around this of like have to. Like not like I have massive medical debt or something crazy, or like some
Something super sad. It's like,
yeah. Because that's like a legitimate reason where you're kind of like almost forced to. Like at some point in time, we all have, okay, well, I have to sell this, you know.
Yeah.
For like a more like sell one luxury good for another luxury good. I don't know.
I mean, I've had that thought or conversation before where it's like, if I sold this stuff and I could get this one bigger book or two bigger books, would I do it? And at least so far, generally, my opinion has been no. I like having the variety versus having the one really big thing. That's just my personal take. Like I like being able to like swap books out on the shelf behind me, you know, instead of like having the one of the same thing. I can't. I mean, I guess like the question is, what is there something like big right now that I would? Obviously not, because I have all this stuff. so like there isn't anything right now that would convince me to do it. If I reached a point where it's like, man, like could I get like a lake house or something like that? That might do it for me.
Yeah, that's kind of where my mind went too. Like, could I buy like my retirement home with my collection? Because at that point in time, if you're that late in your life, like you start getting like the previous conversation we have. At some point in time, I have to sell this stuff because I can't. I mean, you physically can't take it with you. I guess you could in the casket to a degree, but you know, like when do you? That's an interesting conversation of like when do you cash out this lifelong collection, or do you go down with the ship? Like, are you just riding the Titanic down and saying like, nah, man, I want this stuff around me. Fuck it, somebody else can deal with this. You know, I guess it depends on your financial situation a lot too. Like if you could retire at 60 and buy your dream home and, you know, hang it all up, is that worth it to cash in a decent chunk of your collection for?
Yeah,
for some people,
that's the geeks.
Say yes.
Geeks
some
are my peeps comment.
Like, no.
Yeah, that's the geeks are my peeps comment. Like if it was sufficient enough to allow me to like retire or whatever, it's like, yeah, like I would absolutely do that instead of like keeping stuff around, you know. But if it just gets you like a fraction of the way there, like I'd rather have the stuff. So,
yeah. I mean, I'm kind of doing like, you know, I've been trimming down my Pokemon sealed collection to buy to double that into an AF-15, but that's a little different because I don't have a passion for Pokemon sealed, so it's a little bit of apples and oranges.
You have a passion for the price that Pokemon sealed goes for.
Yeah, yes, I do. I check that app once a week, and it's just green lines going like this. Yeah. It's glorious.
Very
but
true.
Even that, it's kind of funny to go on a mini side tangent. Like I have no attachment to Pokemon sealed at all, but now I'm like at the point where I kind of need to sell another batch, and it's, you would think I was picking like my least favorite child to like be like, okay, which one do I let go? And I don't even really care about this stuff, and I'm still like, well, now I don't want to sell that one because of like X, Y, and Z reasons. Should I sell this one instead? And this all
you're building that hoarder instinct.
So, yeah, you got to just learn. You got to learn to kill all your kids. You know, just be like, just take them out to the back and just.
Yeah, it's like heat. You got to be willing to walk away in 30 seconds when the heat's around the corner.
Yeah. You know, just like put a horse down. You know, just pull them out back and say,
swaggle. It keeps going up.
It'll go up forever.
Yeah,
it all goes up forever, right?
Well, let's kind of get in quickly here to our last little story. This actually happened a couple weeks ago. I just wanted to get your quick thoughts and they kind of connect together. But I don't know if you guys caught wind of this one. You know, Dan Quintana, who we talked about a couple times previously,
I was like, what's signing. This picture?
Yeah, out in Los Angeles. And shout out to Sean Big Clutch, who went to the signing to try to get a Dan Quintana signature. But he was saying, you know what, this line ain't worth it. Apparently, he got there at like 7 a.m. and the line had only moved like 10 people or so, like for like about 3 hours, because I guess they were like doing unlimited signings. But the Dan Quintana, you know, failed drop didn't matter. People still want his autograph. People still showing up. He's definitely having a crazy moment. And I kind of wanted to connect it to this other story that, you know, this came out right after we did our last show. But Todd McFarlane had done another Whatnot stream where he sold personally to his Whatnot audience in collaboration with CGC. And in my video, I kind of just made mention of the idea of like, oh, you know, this is kind of interesting. Like if artists like Todd McFarlane and other ones like Rob Liefeld, who does a lot of Whatnot shows and signs and stuff, and like Rob Liefeld doesn't really go to Comic-Cons anymore. It doesn't really do like store signings. I mean, he genuinely just has a Whatnot stream and does it. If Todd McFarlane's doing this, and he can do like whatnot shows with CGC and maybe just do them like for an hour or 2 hours, like every now and again, instead of doing like, his big signing event that we talked about where he had to like sign, I don't know, 50,000 plus things and, probably 12-hour days. And then you got the Quintana line stuff. I don't know. I kind of just feel like this live selling shopping thing, a lot of artists might just be kind of going this way. I don't know if you guys have thoughts on this, but
we talked about
I find
this.
it
I
interesting.
remember, wasn't it Peach did one at like, I forget where it was at, like when eBay Live very first launched. Didn't Peach Momoko do one of these? And I remember us discussing it. This was, I think, just me and you on a live swag and just kind of talking about like, is this the future? Because imagine like auctioning off a slot with whatever, insert whatever artist you want. And it's kind of like, all right, here's the slot. Here's the book. I'll do a signature and you could give me a limited remark of whatever you want. And now you have the item, the signature, the remark, and the video of them actually doing whatever it is that you requested, kind of like all in one shot. It feels like a license to print money. And I never understood why none of them have like, I don't know if like, why hasn't anyone leveraged this? Like, why isn't Dan Dos Santos selling just, get a stack of sketch cards, get 10 on, do 10 in an hour or two and whip them out, or Jim Lee or whoever. Like, it's literally a license, even if it's not the bigger guys, someone like Peach or some of the smaller artists that, aren't quite at that level. It seems like a license to print money.
I mean, I think the bigger ones don't do it because, at least for the most part, it's probably because they don't need to, like, I don't think, like, a lot of times, like, McFarlane, like, donates a lot of the money he makes on, I don't know what about this one specifically, but like when he does a lot of these signings that are at shops, he just ends up donating the money or whatever. Like, I like some of these guys just don't need, and women just don't need the money, but there are other people, I mean, like that are newer artists, like when they get hot, like Quintana and like Clayman and that kind of stuff, like,
or like
they
Pete
do,
5 years ago,
they
like,
do print money. I mean, they do print money when they do those live streams, when they're selling signatures and whatever else. I mean, we've seen it. It's like $500,000 a pop. And I mean, yeah, you could, if I was them and if you gain popularity like that, like I'd be taking advantage of it too. But the bigger names, I think they just don't so much because they just don't need to. But like when I felt the same, like when I saw that McFarlane one, the thing that I thought of was how much the Neil Adams, like from his personal collection stuff sold for. And it was like junk books, like junk, like worth like $5 going for $400, $500, $1,000. Cause they were like low grade, some of them not like, they would have like, just like, I don't know, like it's just like worth nothing really. And just going for huge money. And I was like, holy cow. Like I didn't watch the McFarlane. I was wondering what that stuff went for. Because I imagine
it was a lot.
Big
lot.
Numbers.
You could probably go in and look at the
premium
sell history on it. Did anyone do like a video breakdown of that live sale or no? I would actually go watch that.
I didn't do a breakdown. I did a preview video.
I saw that one. I didn't know if anyone did like a postmortem on like what.
One interesting thing I did check though was that if you look at one of the books, you can look at the submission that they're in, because they said they were only selling like 10 of them or 20 of them, and that submission was like a 50 submission. Like I hadn't seen that before. Maybe that's how they do the bulks, but it actually counted up to 50 instead of to 25 like you normally see. And so there were at least 50 books, and who knows if there were other submissions too that are part of this as well. So, but yeah, I expected them to go for thousands. Like I wouldn't have been surprised if it was thousands.
Yeah. Back to your point, Rob, about like, why don't artists do it? I just think that was like just too early for them to wrap their heads around it. But I think now it's like, oh, this is slowly starting to happen. Like Scott Snyder also did a Whatnot stream, who, he wrote Absolute Batman and kind of did this whole thing. And, what's so interesting, and I'll repeat the point I had in the video where I talked about Todd McFarlane, is just like, when he did his signature event for CGC, like he was charging like $150 or whatever it is, right? And we all know that the dealers are sending in books and then they're upselling to their various platforms for whatever the book is, $500, $1,000 or whatever. And it's like, if Todd McFarlane can just be like, well, I'll just do an hour stream and I'll just do, people are going to bid it to $1,000. Well, all of a sudden, like I got 10 submissions, quote unquote, done in this, like in a couple minutes. So I just think like once they start to see the efficiency of this will just be so much more fruitful for them. And I kind of just think that this is where it's going to go.
Plus, as the artist, you have ultimate control over the supply. So like if say you're not at the top like a McFarlane or a Liefeld or whatever, you're somewhere in that middle. Like you have you're very popular, but you're not like at that peak of your powers or whatever. You almost get to dictate the terms on that stuff. Like, hey, I'm not doing CGC signings anymore. I'm not going to cons anymore. Catch me once a month on eBay Live for 2 hours. That's your only opportunity to get signed books. And I saw a comment in chat about like they would get blowback. Sure, they might, but guess what? They would probably still print money because there would.
Yeah, I mean, like look at the Quintana line. You know,
yeah,
like there was nothing good about that release and everything, and the statement he made, and people are still lining up for it, and they're still paying big money for it. So, I mean,
it would also kind of solve that. Like you talked about, the Quintana line was backed up because dealers walk in with like their long box of books that they want signed. It kind of solves that situation too, because it's like it's a free market. I'm auctioning it off. It starts at $1, and whatever you want to spend. So if a dealer wants to spend a ton of money to get one book signed, more power to you.
Dealers are like, shut up.
That's a good point, because actually they're getting their actual retail value. The artist is getting it.
Yeah, they're maximizing their own personal value with no middleman. Yeah, it's kind of like in a twisted way. It's kind of like what Fanatics did by buying out distribution. They're not letting a middleman make the money anymore. They're making it themselves, which in this case, I would much rather see an artist maximize their value and get every cent that they can versus some random dealer in between.
Yeah, absolutely. That's actually an interesting point. Like I think we've all said this. I think we're all in agreement that it's best if that is going to the artists themselves. But the funny thing is, like the comment there, it's like, but then the artist is going to get the blowback, which is kind of wild. You know, it's like the guys sending in 100 copies of something for McFarlane to sign aren't getting the blowback that they should. But then like the artist doing the exact same thing now, the person that you actually like care about is getting attacked for it. It's kind of a weird, it's a weird situation. I don't know. Cause I'm all for them getting as much as they can out of like the value that they provide.
Yeah, I would never get pissed at an artist for air quote like gatekeeping stuff like that, even if it was someone that I liked. Like,
well, I wouldn't, but people absolutely do. Like, look at the attacks Jim Lee got, for his prices, and it's like it's freaking Jim Lee, he can charge whatever he wants, but people were mad about it.
Well, it's true. I mean, but the thing is, that's what's so funny because, like, obviously, everyone lionizes their favorite artist, but they don't want to like know that the transaction is there. And there's just like weird, like people get weird around the money thing. And yeah, your point, Ryan, with the Jim Lee thing was like evident of like that, where people are all pissed at it or pissed at him. But there is an element where it's like, yeah, what if Jim Lee was like, I want to just like, he's got his commission price. And let's say it was like, I think it was $20,000 at the time or whatever. And he was like going to take whatever it was, 20 commissions or something like that. Well, what if he just took one commission for, that price point? Is it $2 million, one commission? Maybe there is somebody that would do it. And then it becomes like the question to the artists, where is that what you want? Is that how you want to run your business, so to speak? Where it's like, there is a point where it's like, instead of extracting max value, maybe you want to hit most amount of people to have max fan base. But those are the calculations.
I think it depends on who you are. Like Jim Lee and McFarlane probably don't have the time to make that reasonably appropriate. Like there's no way either one of those two could ever potentially hit everyone that wants something. And their time is so valuable that I think you almost have to gatekeep it to a degree.
But that's why I feel like McFarlane does what he does, though. I do think he legitimately wants to get stuff to as many people as he can. It's why, like, we all know he could charge way more for those signatures at CGC. And I think, like, even though it's not cheap, like, you see what the aftermarket is on them. Like, and I'm sure he sees it or has somebody tell him. And I think he still wants to, give something to the people that have supported him.
There's no way to know this, but like those CGC signings, if he priced it high, like at what price point would he need to price it that it's not worth it for the dealers to send in? Like what percentage of those submissions do you think that he gets on a CGC signing is people submitting just a flip versus people that actually just want his signature on a collectible?
I mean, I
There's
bet
no
it's
way to
like,
know this,
I bet
but
it's like,
hypothetically.
I mean, the cynic in me would say it's a really high number, but I bet it's like
50, 50,
50 to
40?
70%, I think, are people that are sending in to sell. I do
So-
think like you get a fair number of people that are sending in one book or two books, like the books they've had since they were kids, and that adds up. But like, there's going to be a bunch of those people that are sending in 100 books or 200 books, and they take up a big chunk all on their own.
So to the previous point, would he be better? Let's say, I don't remember what his signature was. Let's just say it was $150. Would he be better off to charge 300 and cut out the flipper and just go direct to end consumer and end up signing less? If that makes sense.
I mean, it's an interesting question. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe like you might get to
I think
more of the people that aren't trying to flip if you actually increase the price.
I mean, it sucks for the people that truly want a signature that have to pay more for it,
Yeah,
but
it's
but it would also make a signature potentially more valuable because there's less of an amount. Like there's that aspect of it as well. Like you kind of all of a sudden it flips. If he's only signing so much, then the value of the signature goes up because there's less out there. But you know,
I think the value to him more than almost anything else would just be the amount less that he has to do. Like the actual labor would just be so much easier. Because I mean, when you sign like 50,000 books, like 12-hour days nonstop for a week plus, like it's definitely like, God, this is
I
exhausting.
can't imagine how much your hand hurts after like holding a pen, like that for all that time. That must be awful.
and then after you do it, everyone complains online that you didn't sign in the right place.
You didn't use the color I wanted.
Yeah. And then I'll get to make a great video out of it. Like how we had a great video tonight / live stream. But I think that's going to wrap up our show, fellas. I want to say thank you to everybody in the chat for hanging out tonight. If you guys haven't had the chance yet, hop on over to the Ungraded Truth YouTube channel. Give us a sub. Give us a follow on Spotify as well. Link in that description over on the YouTube and here. And also give us a 5-star review. We got 0 new 5-star reviews. We need more. We got to double our 5-star reviews. Gentlemen, thanks again for another great night. Any last words?
I got nothing.
No, cut it.
Go Cavs. Cavs game 7 tomorrow night.
There we go. Detective Comics set a record for 1.8 million. Nobody really cares.
Who are annoyed that people are asking them questions, is this book banned? That question didn't exist a year ago.
Somebody's submitting like 25 vintage books and getting 15 9.9s.
We always think, how could it ever get crazier? And then it always does.